Welcome to the Windup Podcast, brought to you by C4 Bat Company, IssaCookies, Ferrari Michelada Mix, RIC Webdesign, Frank the Tank Grilled 7 Cookers, and our new sponsor today, Julio. Who's our new sponsor today, man?
From our guest last week, Señor Spitz.
Señor Spitz custom sunflower seeds. I already ate some today. I actually got 2 bags. We got like 4 bags, and I took 2 bags home last week, and I already ate them. So that's how good they are. We are joined today by, of course, obviously, our producer, Julio Ramirez. Julio, how are you doing today, man? Haven't seen you in a while, man.
Doing great.
Haven't talked to you either. Man, a few words. Julio Ramirez. I'm also joined today by our good friend and Cincinnati Reds area scout, Coach Mike Partida. And I keep on calling him Coach because that's how I know him by. But, Coach, how you doing today?
Doing good, man. I appreciate it.
Just make sure you get a little bit closer. Good. How you doing, man?
Doing good.
All right. And we're going to talk because we have a lot of questions for you, especially with parents because, parents, a lot of kids are going to the major leagues.
Right.
So maybe we can talk about some misconceptions, maybe clean some stuff up. I don't know if you'll have all the answers, but I know you do have some answers. And so maybe we can try to clarify a little bit of it and then talk in depth about what it is that you do. And then, of course, we're going to talk about you and your baseball career and how it's evolved to get you to where you are right now, which, if you ask me, I think it's actually a pretty cool position. And hopefully, this is just a start for you and you can actually move up. But we'll talk about all that later. But before we get started, I also want to introduce our other host here, which is my dude, wearing the ugliest Astro shirt that was ever made, the brick red.
What?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
Hey, real quick, for all the dudes in the Windup League, let's go. I'm wearing the brick red for Great Uncle Steve right here, man.
Yeah, that's
He
the
loves
ugliest,
it.
that's the ugliest shirt the Astros ever made. But anyway,
Come on,
but
man.
anyway, so my host, the Versace Mariachi, Takachi 6'9", the young Hove of Pasadena, without the bank account, the one, the only, the troll of Facebook, the troll of Instagram, the troll of Twitter, my man, Mr. Junior Aguilar. Junior, how you doing, man? You doing all right today?
I'm doing fine, man. I'm doing fine.
Good. And now, last but not least, we're also joined by our other guest, Mr. Josh Jones of Texas Bluechips. How you doing today?
I'm good. Sorry about
Good,
being late.
good.
Yeah, you good,
Man.
you good, man. You got that fresh fade. I see you.
My barber took longer than
Hey, everybody's looking fresh today. I'm looking kind of ragged. I don't go until Tuesday, so we'll see how that goes. We'll put those on, Josh, please. Yeah, so what we're doing, man, is this, it's coronavirus time, still going. We're going to talk about a couple of these emails that I got this week. Apparently, everybody wants to play. The PG South qualifier got canceled because they ain't got no fields. But we knew that was going to happen once you start using colleges and high school fields. And, when the district shuts you down and also when the college shuts you down, it's, you can't play. So I guess they're going to – I didn't really read the email. Do you know what I'm talking – do you know about it?
Yeah.
So what happened to them? They just – canceled?
They just canceled.
Okay.
I think a lot more are going to follow suit here pretty soon.
Okay.
You think it's over, Coach?
Man, I don't think it's over. I think maybe late July, go into August.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
when you think everything gonna kick back up again.
Yeah, it could be something like that. I mean, you got a lot of people that man, they want to play, man. They're ready to play. I don't know if the kids want to play, but I definitely know the parents want to play. Man, parents are ready to go, man. Shit, you know what? Yeah, you ought to start a league, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody's ready to go, man. Every parent I talk to, man, is like, man, we're ready to go. I'm like, really? How about your kids? Well, yeah, I think so. I'm like, yeah, okay. I don't know if they're ready to go just because they want to do the camaraderie or they want to be at the park or shit. They're just bored.
Yeah.
I'm not bored at home, but there's some days I do get bored. But there's a lot of stuff for me to do at home. So,
Man, it's crazy. I mean, look, everything shut down out of nowhere, really. And now it almost feels like everything's going to start up out of nowhere.
Dude, okay,
It's
so
crazy.
I was in Sugar Land today, right? Roaming the mean streets of Sugar Land. And I got to tell you, man, Sugar Land's 100% open now. I mean, traffic. I went furniture shopping today. Man, it was just like a Saturday. I mean, it was out there, dude. Restaurants were packed. People were walking. People riding bikes like we talked about last week. I mean, it's just like they're ready to go, man. So I can't. So if they're ready to go, I can't believe that people across the rest, other people across the city aren't ready to go as well. So, I mean, so we're gonna see what's up, man.
Yeah.
I saw it. Somebody sent me a screenshot today of something that Darren posted about. He's gonna post something tonight about a tournament. So, I mean, some people may get their wish. I mean.
What did,
he's itching, man. He's itching to hit that send button, boy. I mean,
is there new like news or what? Did the state open back up, like as far as parks?
No, I don't know.
Still the same?
I have no idea, dude. No, I have no idea.
I know they're practicing at Baseball USA.
Yeah, they are practicing. They started with last week, I think.
Yeah.
Or was it this week? I think it's this week. It's this week, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This week they opened up Baseball USA. So I've seen like Coach Ken with the Banditos. I've seen those guys practicing out there. And I've seen some other teams just across the country practicing as well. You know, what's funny is, just in Texas, they're talking about the 4 people rule. Man, somebody needs to learn how to count because I see 4 kids and a coach, so that's 5. Yeah. So but that's just me, though. I don't know. So, so they're going to have to figure that out. I mean, hey, listen, if you want to practice, that's fine. I mean, like I keep on saying, I'm not going to go get killed and go get the COVID just because you're bored at home. Mm-hmm. But, you know, that's going to be my decision if I'm ready to go out there. And so as long as you leave it up to the people, they're going to decide what they want to decide. Yeah. And then you just go and just figure it out.
Yeah,
I mean,
agree.
You know, and so,
sure.
Yeah, and there's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. If you want to go out there and play, then go out there and play. I mean, that's your prerogative. But, man, people are itching to play, man. People itching to play. You got people watching the KBO. I mean, the guy cried. My friend called me the other day. He said, hey, man. He goes, man, have you seen this KBO? I said, yeah, bro. I've actually been to Korea and been to a game. So, I saw it on TV today. Yeah, so I've seen it. Dude, when they actually have fans in the stadium, man, it's awesome. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's loud, like loud. And then they have all the little gadgets. I don't even know what they call them, man. And then all the little food that's there, man. It's awesome, man. It's pretty good. So he tried to call me and educate me on the KBO. I was like, bro, come on, man. I already know about it. So I have not seen a KBO game on ESPN.
It was pretty cool. I saw it.
Well, what time did they come on? They got to come on like a what?
Like 2 o'clock. Yeah, 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
Oh, for real?
2 o'clock.
Okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. So was that on tape delay or was that live?
No, it's probably live.
Okay.
It has to be.
Yeah, it's like a 12-hour difference.
Okay, man. So
that's pretty cool, though, man. I mean,
so is there?
It's good to see.
Is there nobody in there or what?
No, it was empty.
It's empty. Oh, man.
And that's hard to play, right?
Yeah.
I was like, that's like the rookie ball, man. You know, coach. Man, that's the worst. It's like nobody in the stands.
Yeah.
Just like you.
That's like a Gulf Coast League game.
Gulf Coast League, Arizona League, the worst. 115 degrees outside, and it's
man,
nobody in the stands.
Yes, so since y'all two UT guys are here today, I'm going to talk about that because I've been to a lot of those games, and 1, it's hot.
Oof.
2, there ain't nobody there.
Nobody.
But 3, man, you could see some good players back. I mean, down there. But it all depends. I mean, I remember one of the vividly. I saw Garrett Cole when the Pirates signed him. He was down in the Gulf Coast League. I think they had barely signed him. He was doing a start. It was him, and I was there at the Astros complex. And there was a kid named Elizar Hernandez. He was 17 years old. And him and Garrett Cole were going back. I mean, that game lasted about an hour and 20 minutes, dude. I mean, they were just shutting each other down. Oh, dude, yeah. So Elizar Hernandez was with the Astros, and then he became a Rule 5 draft pick of the Marlins. Mm. And I don't know if he's still with the Marlins or anything, but I remember seeing this kid. I mean, he's a skinny kid. I'm just, I was like, oh, I mean, and all those scouts all the scouts. There were like 5 scouts. They were back there, and I went and saw, and he was hitting 96, 97. And he was bringing it, man. I was like, whoa. And so, but you see all those guys back there in the backfields, man. I mean, you never know who you're going to see back there. And but we'll get into that a little bit later on. But because I think people need to. I know people like going to spring training.
For sure.
But there's a lot of other things, and I tell my cousins when they go to spring training because they always want to see the big club. But if you can get back to the backfields, and sometimes with some clubs,
that's why I was.
Yeah, in some clubs they'll let you go back there, but some, man, they're like, dude, you can't go back there. But man, you can see some top-notch players. You can see, number 1 draft picks and number 2 draft picks and all that, if the club allows you. Nice. And so it all depends where you're going to go see. And we'll talk about spring training because I mean, I'm not a fan of Florida. I'm a fan of Arizona because it's all close by. In Florida, you gotta man, you got to drive, man. That's a job over there, man.
Only good thing about Florida, I say, was we had rainouts. So the mornings you get up, you're like, oh, we're not playing ball today. But in Arizona, like, no chance. Like,
Yeah, you're playing.
And then being an outfielder, though, like in Arizona, there's like no clouds in the sky.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you're looking at 115-degree weather and big league pop-ups, and you're trying to catch a fly ball in that naked sky, man. I'll take Florida all day as far as rainouts.
Yeah.
But the scenery, Arizona for sure.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And that's all type of scenery.
Yeah,
They're just not,
Yeah.
just not natural scenery.
I was about to ask about that because people have said Arizona has nice views.
Yeah,
Does it really?
For sure.
nice.
It's
Oh,
the
yeah.
mountains.
Yeah, it's
the-
legit.
the
Nice.
mountains.
Yeah, it's nice everything. Nice views when I'm talking about scenery, people, everybody.
Scottsdale.
Yeah,
it's
it's nice, man. And so we'll get into that because a lot of people, like I said, everybody wants to go to spring training, but a lot of people don't know exactly what they need to do to go over there. And so there's a lot of things that you can do. And like I said, it's just fun, but you have to know where you're going and what you're going to do, because if not, then you'll just get stuck at a game. And one of my best times is I was in Arizona, and I saw who did I see? The Dodgers against the Giants. And I was in the right field. I was down the first base line. It was 103 degrees, and I was drinking a beer, and I wasn't sweating because it wasn't humid. It was just hot. And so, so you get stuff like that, but, so we'll talk about that later. So let's get into it, man. Well, the first thing I want to get into, dude, what's up on this D1 challenge, man? what have you guys seen this D1 challenge? Did you see his D1 challenge?
Is that your boy?
Yeah.
Bush
What do you think about that, man? All right. So like,
Okay, so let me set it up, and then I'll let you,
and
then you can knock it out.
set it up.
Okay, so somebody sent us something on Facebook, and I text Junior and I say, hey, dude, I said, you need to top that or something to that effect. And I didn't think anything of it, right? So I was fixing to go into a meeting, and before you know it, I'm sitting in the meeting, man, my phone is blowing up, and I'm like, dude, I have to turn it down. I'm like, man, what the hell's going on? Then my friend texted me and said, hey, bro, what the hell is this D1 challenge? I'm like, bro, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. And so I have a break in the meeting, and I go out and I look at Facebook, and then I see the D1 challenge. Apparently, I started it. I was tagged in it. So
you're the one that set it up, man. So Uncle Steve sends me a pic. It's like a screenshot. He's like, man, check this out. Look what they're doing. And it was like some kids pushing like a SUV. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna just try to troll and top it. So then I was like, I just started it. And if you hear the video, I'm like just talking smack the whole time. So I just added a few what is it? Like flavor sauce to it. Yeah, I was like, you got to push it around the block twice.
Did y'all go around the block?
Nah, he only went around once. He's like, man, Dad, that's hard. I was like, man, I bet. I was like, the neighbor was like, what the hell's going on? You run out of gas?
Yeah,
like, nah.
Dude, so I'm getting all these messages like, man, you're crazy about this D1 challenge. I'm like, bro, I don't even know what you're talking about. Then I get out of the meeting, and then I got like about 80 something like notifications. I'm like, dude, let me get on here. And then I see it, and then my friend calls me up and said, hey, man, your boy Junior, man, that shit's funny. I'm like, oh, man. As soon as I heard his name, I'm like, dude, I don't even want to see it. I'll wait till I get home. Then I got home, and then I saw little Jalen pushing that V4 outside. So, so I don't know what. So I don't know what. I don't know what happened. So are you getting? So what's going on with it, dude?
I don't know. I've seen a few of my friends sent me some videos, but look, I called out some people. I called out Keith Fetters.
Okay.
Called out Alvar Baseball from Eagle Pass.
Okay.
And Kyle Foster from Backyard Ballers, because they're always showing us love. So I was like, man, just do it. And Flash was supposed to get here with the FedEx truck.
Who's going to push the FedEx truck?
Well, we're going to take the trolling to the next level. Julio was supposed to bring some straps.
Yeah, I was supposed to straps and JJ. They're going to pull my truck.
They're going to pull the truck. So we're going to keep it going, bro. It's going to be a 10-day challenge. So
a 10-day challenge?
Yeah,
and it stopped after the first day?
Yeah, it stopped after the first day. But.
Man, so you guys got to keep that going. So, it's just, and we see it. And I know you've seen it. Both of y'all have seen it. How people are training or what they're doing. Does it make you laugh sometimes when you see some of the stuff?
For sure. All the time.
I'm sitting late at night because I usually get on social media late at night or whatever. And I see some of the stuff, man. I texted the Junior. Junior's asleep by 9 o'clock. And so I sent it to him, and I'm like, dude, I can't believe some of these people are, I'm not going to say getting paid for this, but I can't believe they're doing this. I just don't, I guess to each their own. But, man, they're just like, they're doing some stuff I've never even seen before. I've seen some people trying to balance on balls and trying to do this, trying to jump. I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
Hit the ball.
Hit the ball. That's it. It's already hard enough to hit the ball.
Exactly.
Yeah,
hit the ball. It's just like when Junior came out with this little fielding thing. He's over there dancing. I'm like, bro, go get the ball, man. Quit dancing. He's like, oh, man.
I did it for Unc because, you know, he's got that academy over there in DR. So, you know,
they don't dance.
Everybody feels like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but they go get the ball, though, man. You're over there doing the Michael Jackson step, and then you figure out to go get the ball.
Man,
just go get the ball.
Well, it's kind of harder to field a baseball when Matt Lamb's smoking them to you. So, yeah.
Nah, well,
With his fungo.
Right. Yeah, so we see stuff like that, and I'm like, man, who the hell's calling me?
Is that
My
the
bad.
Jurassic World ringtone?
Nah, dude, that was a
That's
no.
what it was, right?
Is it? I don't know. That's
He's wearing the
is it?
shirt.
Oh no, dude, that's just a generic one that Samsung gave me, bro. I have no idea, man. I couldn't tell you.
Man.
But no, so we watch stuff, and I see stuff, and I'm just like, man, why are y'all doing that?
YouTube.
You think it's YouTube?
Yeah, I mean, it's everybody's trying to like make the game more difficult than what it is. You know, and I think we're at an era now where like presentation sells.
Yeah.
So everybody's always trying to reinvent the wheel, and I see some drills, and you know, and I'm looking at like, have you ever seen a 90+ miles an hour fastball in the box? Like see the ball, hit the ball. You know, as far as when you get in the game. But I think at the point now it's like, especially with like select ball, I see so much now to where I think everything right now is just presentation.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. And how about you, Coach? How about from the scout side? When you see all that dancing and stuff, does that turn you off, or are you actually watching the whole play develop, or what's your mindset on that?
Oh man, I'm just watching the play develop.
Yeah, it's kind of. I see some stuff and I'm just like, man, I don't know. But hey, man, like I said, everybody has their own style. Everybody has their own, as Junior would say, their own flavor. So I mean, but at the end of the day, you got to go get the ball and you got to hit the ball.
It's like, you know, like what Coach know now. It's a 5 o'clock player and a 7 o'clock player.
Right.
There's
a lot of
You
them.
can do all the drills at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
But when them lights come on, can you perform? You know, and that's pretty much what it comes down to. And you have guys that's not good practice players. Mm-hmm. Like I look at let's say like Hunter Pence for an example. You know, you wouldn't go see Hunter Pence play and be like, oh, he has the best mechanics. But when the lights come on, you know, he gets the job done. So, you know, like you said, it's a 5 o'clock player and a 7 o'clock player. So you can do all the drills at 5. But if coach don't, I don't know if I say coach now. Let me say Mike. I asked him that. I'm calling him coach. So,
I asked him that today too.
If Mike don't see you making plays at 7 o'clock, he'll cross you off that list. You can do all the drills you want.
Hey, Coach, as a scout, just to put it out there, do swag points count?
Swag points?
Yeah.
Yeah, man, we'll take that into consideration.
Okay. You see that? I'm telling you.
Yeah, well, we'll get into that a little bit later on too, because I think he's just being nice to you right now. But because I think swag points are like at the what? If you're doing the by the scale, it may be like at a 10 swag. What do you think? Or is it 20?
No, I'll give it 20.
Give it 20? Yeah, that's no good. So I was telling Junior the other day. There's a kid on Facebook that Junior's always like, man, this dude's awesome. Then his numbers came out. He was 50 across the board. I had been telling Junior he was average. I said, man, that kid's average, man. He's like, nah, man, he's superstar. I'm like, wait. Man, as soon as his numbers came out, I texted him. I said, man, what have I been telling you? Straight up average.
50s.
All 50s.
Yeah, that's what it
all
was.
50s. All 50s across the board. I was like, man, I told you. I said, man, don't ever disrespect me again. Because, I mean, you guys, and you played, you guys see it differently. I mean, you know, it's just, I mean, we can see it, or Junior and Julio and us, we can see it and they're like, oh man, this guy's really good. But then you guys are looking at things that we're not looking at.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's and we'll discuss some of those things later on, because a lot of people need to know, because a lot of people just think that you're just showing up and trying to perform, but you guys are actually looking at a bunch of stuff, man. I mean, it's just not, it's not just what you see right there, but you're seeing other stuff, especially with the interaction with the other teammates, and how you practice and how you do this and how you do that. And a lot of people just forget about that. You know, you can be a shitty teammate, but eventually that's going to catch up to you. Yeah. And you're either going to get knocked out in college or you're going to get knocked out in the pro level.
No, exactly right, man. That's in scouts, you know, that's like the sixth tool, and Josh could tell you, you know, makeup. You know, that's important.
Right. Yeah, because I remember there was a kid, I'm not going to say his name. He was a little cocky little dude in high school, right? Thought he could beat everybody up. He goes to JUCO. He didn't want to do a drill in the weight room. Knocked out cold. And I heard about it. I just started laughing, not because he got knocked out, but that's what he deserved. And because, you know, and I tell people this all the time, when you get to college or JUCO, everybody's all district. Everybody's maybe all state, all region, whatever you want to put behind all, everybody's that. And then especially if you go to like D1, everybody's all that. And then when you get to the pros, well, everybody's all that. So you're not really setting yourself apart. You're just joining the club. And so everybody's there equal. And then you go in there and you start, oh man, I'm all state. Well, shit, I was all state too. And so that negates everything. So you know, but we'll talk about the dynamics in the clubhouse because it's pretty interesting. And I'll just leave it at that because there's a lot of things that go on. But hey, Junior, what's going on with you, Trip, dude? What's going on this week? Because
I mean, I saw Darren said that he was going to post out or send out an email for this weekend, but I'm not too sure, man. That's why I asked at the beginning of the show, like, if there was news that broke, because I hadn't heard anything.
Like tomorrow this weekend?
Yeah. Yeah. So I got a text. Somebody told me be ready for Memorial Day weekend. Yeah. So I was like, all right, cool. I mean, I was shopping for furniture, man. So that was the last thing I was worried about at that time. But he called me and said, hey, man, you know, up here in Dallas, we're getting ready to go on Memorial Day weekend. And I'm like, man, I'm trying to go to the river or something, man. So, you know, it's just how it is, man. But back to that perfect game, Junior, man, that thing being canceled, man, that's
you think that's big?
Yeah, it's big because I mean it's a big tournament. I mean, you know, and so anytime a big tournament gets canceled, I mean it's cause for concern. I know people on Facebook are talking about that tournament that's going to happen in June. What is that, 12U?
12U
in Vieira,
Nationals
Florida,
or something like that.
Yeah, in Vieira, Florida. Man, would y'all be able to go to a June tournament in Florida right now, if you try to plan for it with your teams or anybody?
My thing is I'm always like safety first. And what I'm struggling with right now is even if we do play Memorial Day weekend, my guys haven't thrown in 2 months.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so you get in the game and you have a big league umpire at Baseball USA that's not calling anything on the black, and it's ball, and before you know it, arms are hurting. So I'm struggling with the balance of, you know, yes, I want our kids to get back out there and play, but then also we need to practice and get the arms back in shape. So you talking about going to a big tournament in June, it's like, will they be ready?
Right.
You know, at that age, for sure.
Well, the funny thing is they actually have about 20 teams already signed up, if I saw it correctly.
Something like that.
Yeah, and so, man, are these guys practicing, or are they just going to go out there and just try to wing it?
Hey, I mean, Coach Blue put on the group the other day that he drove by the park and he saw like a whole team.
Vincent Blue, man, and they were getting on Vincent Blue, man. Man, hey.
Oh, Blue had a practice.
Yeah, no. Blue saw practice.
He saw practice.
Yeah.
Shout out Coach Blue.
I don't think these dudes know how big Coach Blue is.
That's my boy too, man.
Oh, bro. Yeah. Shout out Coach Blue.
He doing like jiu-jitsu and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my boy.
Yeah, he's trying to win out there. I think I saw him on the ground, man. I think he won that match or something. I think he put a couple of videos on. I think it was on Instagram or on Facebook. I wouldn't mess with Coach Blue. I wouldn't roll with Coach Blue. I mean, that dude, man. So anyway, but yeah, man. So they're talking about the tournament in June, and I'm just thinking, dude. I mean, are you going? I mean, not anybody here, but if you're a team, are you going?
I mean, it's tough,
but they
man.
have 20, though.
It's tough.
They have 20.
It's borderline because what is it about player safety? Is it about winning? I mean, I honestly, look, I called it. I've been calling it. I think spring season's done with. It's just because everybody's been shut down. You really don't know what kids have been doing. It's going to be bad baseball, man, when we come back. I think so.
You think it's going to be bad baseball?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna disagree with that. I will tell you that you know, what happens, man, it's funny, dude. It's funny because you have a lot of teams right now that are raring to go and some that are like in the back. Yeah, just sure. Like, we're going to wait and see what happens. Yeah. And, you know, whatever you decide, that's what you decide. But, I mean, some teams, man, when they go, they're going to be ready. So, you know, there's a lot of teams practicing right now. Yeah. Okay. And, you know, there's going to be more teams practicing as soon as maybe next week. Yeah. And then exactly once the 18 comes, is the 18th going to be the date that's going to be the free-for-all where everybody starts practicing? What do you think?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Man, if that's the case, then.
But it's crazy because I see a lot more people outside now than before this.
Yeah.
Sure. Which I don't understand.
Yeah.
You know, but it's great. I mean, I guess it's great.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and that's. I mean, what do you think about the bigger kids, about the high school? Is that going to happen this year, this summer, their tournaments?
Man, there's
just say locally. We'll just talk locally.
Not anytime soon.
Not anytime soon.
No.
Not even June, July, August.
July.
I'm
thinking if anything, it's gonna be July.
Wow, that's gonna hurt a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's gonna hurt a lot of people.
How do you guys feel about U-Trip pushing back a month to give kids a chance, I guess, to play or
they want to play in August, right?
Yeah.
And my thing is, when do you do tryouts? If you do have tryouts, you know, because August is usually the dead time for when you have tryouts. So, you know, it's kind of like, so you're just gonna roll all the way through August, September, October. I mean, you know, it comes
some teams will, coach. Some teams will.
Yeah.
I mean, we laugh about it, but you know, there's some teams are gonna go all the way through because they go all the way through from January to October. Yeah, and they don't. I mean, they just keep on playing. Maybe they'll have maybe a 2-week or 3-week little layoff, but then after that, man, they're ready to go, man. And so I don't know, man. It's going to be tough, but at some point in time, a decision is going to have to be made if you're on a team. You know, I mean, if it's for me, I would do like somewhere in beginning of July. Middle of July, and then that gives you, let's just say the 18th. It gives you the 18th to maybe a month to get back into shape or whatever, and because man, dude, I mean, nobody's taking ground balls.
Yeah,
I mean, I see everybody hitting.
But
everybody.
Can you imagine getting in a tournament right now? You can't get 3 outs. Like, I mean, then see, it's like a domino effect because. People that have never played the game, I guess, you know, it's like 2 different ways to look at the game. Mm-hmm. Like, you're going to get mad at Johnny for not catching the ground ball, and then the parents will be mad in the stands, but we haven't had practice in 2 months. Yeah. Right. So then as a coach, it's like, do I feel bad because I set my team up for failure? Yeah. You know, so it's like, I think it's steps that you have to go through to get it. I don't think it'll be good baseball right off the back, but I think, you know, it's player safety has to come into effect as well because, I mean, you're looking at going throwing the game, you know, then you got to come back and play Sunday, but then arms are going to be hurting, and then older kids, especially like high school kids. Yeah. You know, a couple of our kids that's going to college. I know, all the college kids, the coaches asked if they can play this summer because they didn't play high school. So then you have to look at all of the safety factors, especially the pitchers. I mean, hitting the ball and going to get the ball in the outfield and infield is okay, but I'm looking at arms. You know, that's kind of the main thing for sure.
Yeah.
Well, what are you guys doing at Blue Chips during this time? You still keeping?
No, we're just doing. Touch? Yeah. I'm keeping in touch with the parents. So what I'm doing is sending out like weekly updates, weekly practices, practice plans for them to follow, just study guides, doing some training at the cages, one-on-one lessons. You know, our coaches are doing. We have 2 facilities, so our coaches are doing training in Alvin, and then we're doing one-on-ones out in Danbury as well. So that's all we're doing right now, just waiting until we can open things up and then take the safety measure first. You know, that's kind of where I'm big on. It's just, you know, we're going to play baseball again. It's just doing it the right way and making sure our kids are safe.
Yeah. And that's a pretty good answer.
And how do the parents react to it? What type of parents do you have, Coach?
Well, I preach.
That's a slippery slope, so just watch it.
No. Every parent know me. You know, I'm about as transparent as it comes. You know, I preach to my parents more than I preach to the kids because I'm a big picture guy. Yeah. You know, I don't care about short-term satisfaction. You know, my thing is the bigger picture. You know, if we win now, but then your kid get hurt later, then what did that accomplish? Yeah. You know, so I'm telling them, you know, as soon as we can get back to it, you know, we will. But the odds of getting everybody on the field 4 at a time will never happen. You know, and with us, we have a lot of teams. So, you know, it's like, how do you get your coaches out there and you have 4 kids, then 4 kids, then 4 kids, that's 3 hours a day. And me personally, I don't feel like you can accomplish anything with 4 players at practice. You know, like that's like that's like a lesson to me. It's like a private lesson, you know. So my parents are okay. You know, they I think they understand and they trust me. You know, with their kids, and
good.
Hopefully they'll, you know, when we start back, they'll all be back. Yeah. We'll see.
And do you anticipate what percentage do you anticipate coming back after all this?
You know what? I haven't heard anything yet. I haven't heard not one. I send out updates every week. You know, I haven't heard not one parent say they're not coming back. So I guess that's the only reason why I'm ready to kind of get the ball rolling. Okay. So I'll know where we are as far as, you know, who's been affected by this, who's coming back, who's not coming back. But I mean, I haven't heard anything right now. There's nobody not coming back. So hopefully, you know, we'll have everybody back when we get started.
Yeah, that's good because we talk about, I think there's going to be some teams that aren't going to make just because or for whatever reason.
Yeah, no, for sure. You
know, and that could be just because you don't want your kid to be involved or be around for safety precautions. I mean,
for sure.
And I think there's going to be a lot of people have maybe lost their job and aren't able to do it financially. Yeah. I mean, because let's be honest, man. Travel baseball and select baseball, it's expensive now. I mean, it's starting to become golf. It's starting to become stuff like that, soccer. So we have to also put those parameters in place because, I mean, we don't know exactly what's going to happen. And so with all that, that's going to change the whole dynamic of the summer because you don't know if you have a team of 12 and only 6 come back.
Then you're done.
Yeah. I mean, so then now you're scrambling to try to accommodate those 6. And you may not accommodate those 6 with the type of kids that you may want. And you may just have to fill them in. I mean, I hate saying that, but that's just, you know, it happens. I mean, it happens. And so I think people are going to have to be on the lookout for that because I think that's gonna happen. I don't know how much that's going to happen, but I think some teams are going to be effective.
For sure. I think it will be for sure. I mean, because you're going to have parents that's like, well, then you got to look at this aspect to it from a parent perspective for some parents. Like, well, we don't start playing until July.
Right.
Fall season starts in September. You know, so we're just going to hold off until the fall season starts.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just different approaches by how parents look at it. But, it's like up in the air right now.
Yeah, and one conversation I had with the parent 2 weeks ago was they're going to play football. Yeah. And so football starts in this July, something, all that stuff. And so they're going to go straight football. And I'm like, okay.
Do you think that depends on if football starts on time? It has to be, right?
All right, listen. NFL's not going to stop.
I heard it might not be high school football this year.
That's what I heard too.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy,
man. You know what? I'm gonna have to see that to believe that, because I know those owners from the NFL aren't gonna leave money on the table. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen, because in MLB the players run the league, and in NFL the owners run the league. So there's 2 different dynamics there, and so I don't know if those owners are gonna give up all that money. Having said all that, what do you do with college football? Yeah. And will it start? I mean, you know, so there's a lot of stuff that's going on. You know, and unfortunately, one thing, and I'll ask you, Coach, did you see where Laredo Community College did away with all athletics?
I saw that.
Oh,
man.
really?
Yeah, I talked to a buddy the other day, and
that's terrible.
It's bad for the program, man. Especially all those kids that committed there. Now they're gonna have to try to find another place.
Yeah.
And at this time, man, it's
tough.
late.
It's tough, right? Yeah. Well, they said that if they offered you a scholarship, that they're gonna honor the scholarship. The school.
Go to school. Go to school.
So here's my deal. So check this out. Okay, so one of the reasonings, and I saw a little bit of the board yesterday because I was furniture shopping and I sat down and I was tired, so I just started watching this. And so one of the things one of the reasons that they said they wanted to make sure that the safety of the student athletes was their main priority. Mm-hmm. But they're going to let school go if school starts. They're going to let them congregate and be around all this. So my thing is, why are you going to do that? Me personally, I think that was an excuse to get rid of athletics.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I thought that too, but I actually saw it. So LCC is getting $80 million from somewhere. I think it's from the federal government. I could be wrong. Like I kind of heard it.
80 million.
Yeah, 80. Yeah, it's either 80 million or 60 million. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. So my thing
game they went to.
No, it was for federal to make sure that students were going, and so I may be off in the numbers, but it was in the millions.
Damn.
And so my thing is, okay, so you already have the money.
Mm-hmm.
Why get rid of all the athletics?
Programs, right?
Yeah, and
mean,
so
it's
that
tough
hurts
call.
coaches because I think they got a new coaching staff there. That hurts kids that played last year and that committed this year. So just like what Coach said, now they got to find another place to play in May during the pandemic, where I don't think you can talk. Can they talk to can recruiters talk to kids right
They
now?
can talk to kids, yeah.
They can?
They just can't go out. And that's why I was saying when Josh asked, when thought about high school, when they get to resume. I was talking to another coach of mine, buddy of mine, saying that they're looking to push the dead period back to the end of June. So they're, no college scouts are going to be able to go out and watch kids. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so how are those showcases that people are advertising on Facebook now, and they have all these schools? Are they going to be able to go out during the?
No, I don't understand how they're be able to post that.
Yeah,
Not
well,
be
see,
able to come out.
okay, so I saw a new one today. Somebody just sent me a new one today, and I was like, man, I don't know if that's actually gonna. I mean, because I don't know, but I'm not saying they're lying, but it's going to be
Now,
difficult.
if it's JUCO, there's no rules.
Okay.
They go out and watch guys every day. It's not like D1s.
How about NIA and NAIA and D3 and all
I
those
think
guys?
NAI is the same
Same
thing.
thing.
Okay.
D3, not sure.
They got to follow NCAA rules, I think.
so.
But
Okay.
NAIA and JUCO, I think, are the same.
Oh, okay, all right. And like I said, I just saw it in passing, so maybe I'm talking sideways on it, but I mean I'm still trying to figure out, man. I mean, I think football is going to start when it starts. I mean, I that's just me, and I'm probably going to be wrong on that. But man, it's tough, man. Yeah. It's tough because I'm still of the opinion that I know they canceled the state championship in basketball for high school.
Mm-hmm.
Do they cancel that big old swing dig that they have in Dallas in December for the state high school championship in football?
Oh, in football. I don't know. Football make a lot of money.
I'm just asking.
Make a lot of money.
because it's funny because I get the same reaction when we talk about, okay, well, we're going to cancel football. We're going to cancel basketball. We're going to cancel baseball, track, volleyball. We're going to not volleyball, but all the other ones.
You know what I think is going to happen when the professional sports get going? That's when everybody else will follow.
Okay.
In my personal opinion, like I knew when they shut down like spring training, I'm like, oh, it's a domino effect.
Yeah.
But I think like once the Astros start playing, like if they have a season in July, I think everybody else will follow suit.
Yeah.
And that's just like with the NFL. I think once if they have a season, I think we'll probably have a football season as well. But I think those guys are like the leaders, so it kind of follow them.
Yeah, and somebody posted something on Facebook talking about if what you're talking about, if MLB's not playing until, and there's all rumors about when it's going to happen, and I don't think anybody knows. But when how come U-Trip and Nations and everybody else is playing, but MLB's not playing?
Yeah, I saw that.
So I thought that was pretty funny.
That's interesting.
Can you imagine like those guys aren't getting paid?
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine making, let's say, $10 million a year, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, pandemic, no salary? Like, man, that's tough, man.
Yeah. Hey, some of them are hurting too right now.
Yeah, for sure.
Making $10 million. But yeah, man. So I'm just trying to figure out. I mean, it's just all up in the air right now. And you're talking about some major tournaments all across the country and travel ball that are being effective, and Perfect Game's still trying to save it. They're like, oh man, we're gonna have it. I'm like,
that's tough.
hey man, hey,
that's already like next
400 teams
like 3
at
weeks from now.
400 teams at $3,500 a pop. They're gonna wait till the last possible moment. I'm talking. They're gonna wait till they can't do it anymore.
Oh, man, that's crazy.
But then you're gonna have to travel. I mean, if you don't know, I mean, people just okay. So there was one that what was it? TBS. They changed the tournament from June to the end of August.
Yep.
Okay, that's all good and dandy, but here's the deal: people act like it's easy to change flights, to change hotel reservations. Now, it can be easy, but it's a hassle. And it becomes an inconvenience. So maybe you were going to fly, now you got to drive, and like I said, based on financial constraints right now, we don't know what's going to happen.
Right.
I mean, it's just out there, but we'll wait and see. I mean, I just think we need to be in the wait and see mode, but unfortunately, I think I'm in the minority in that because, man, parents, they're ready to go.
Ready to go. For sure.
I know Junior's ready to go.
I mean, I'm ready to go. I'm looking forward to summer. We're gonna travel everywhere.
Junior got that squad.
I was like, man, we're gonna go travel everywhere. I was excited, but I mean, it just It just, man, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I mean, as you know, as we keep on going and going and going, I think it's going to become easier and easier to not play. But we don't know. I mean, who knows? But once the state opens up and they open up the county parks, man, tournament directors, man, they salivating right now, man.
Yeah.
It's right now. It's like
we're all gonna be there.
quite by some at different times than others, but yeah, we're all gonna be there. So, I mean, we'll just have to wait on that. But what's funny to me is that what's gonna happen with the MLB draft. I mean,
say 5. What's it, Coach? 5 rounds?
Is it 5 or 10?
It's 5 rounds.
It's 5 rounds.
And the draft's gonna be June 10th.
Wow.
And then next year is like 20, I think, right? Then they're cutting it down. But I know it's futuristically speaking, but they're talking about like
going 20
rounds, right?
And then after that, everybody's a free agent.
Free agent, yeah.
Wow. Who decides that?
So it's between the owner, is it between the owners and the MLB Players Association?
Okay, because I always thought that the Players Association did not care about draftees until they got into the major leagues, and so now I could be wrong, but because I thought I read that about where the Players Association was interceding on that, and I thought, man, these dudes don't really care about about your signing bonus and all that. They only care about when you get to the show. So I find that very interesting if that's the case. But I don't know. But man, if you're going down to 5 rounds,
it's tough.
Wow.
Yeah. And there won't be a minor league season this year either.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No minor league season
because it ends in August, right? If I remember.
No, September.
Yeah,
September. End of September.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, it's. I mean, that's not going to happen either. But I mean, so you got a lot of kids that are going to get missed. Some good kids. I mean, hey, people miss out on people all the time. I mean, it's just there's just too many kids out there, and you got your late bloomers, you got all this and all that. But man, when you go down to 10, 20 rounds, wow,
that cuts out a lot.
That cuts a lot of people out, and so. You're gonna have a lot of kids getting signed for like 2,000,
but
3,000.
It's like, in a way, it's a good thing for free agents, and it's a great thing for guys that get drafted. Because I mean, you look at like when the draft did have 50 rounds, and the guy get drafted like in the 40th round, he still will carry more weight than the free agent,
right?
Minor
of course,
leaguer.
Yeah.
So now, if you eliminate the last 30 rounds, everybody is going in as free agents are basically going in on the even scale. Depending on how much they gave you in the signing bonus.
Right.
But it's like you said, it's going to be tough to get that money now.
So you're going to have a good agent or a good representation, and you're going to have to start. I mean,
it's going to be,
it's going to be dog out there, man. It's gonna be out there. But my thing about this whole, so if they cut it down to 20 rounds, is the money going to get cut down too? Because they got allotted money for everybody. Are they going to do some sort of a amendment to the money?
Yeah, the money's gonna get cut down, and then so free agency too. At the last time I heard, it was you can sign unlimited free agents only up to 20,000.
Okay. Wow. Okay. But you know what? That's actually not bad because there's a lot of kids that get signed for like 5, 6, and they have no shot out there. I mean, I hate saying that, but I mean we know how it goes. I mean if they're not heavily invested in you financially. If you have 1 or 2 or 3 bad weeks, it's easy to let you go. I mean, that's how it is. I mean, hell, the Astros stayed with Kyle Tucker forever because they gave him a couple of million.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of Kyle Tucker, so I'm sorry, but Junior is. So that's why.
Hell no. I like Kyle Tucker though.
So that's gonna be interesting, and I mean, man, but this whole thing messes everything up, especially with college seniors and juniors.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
I'm telling you,
are you
man.
coming back? Are you not coming back? Or I mean, even JUCO. I mean,
JUCO's gonna be even stronger this year
because everybody get their year back, right?
Yep. And then the guys also that are in the transfer portal. I think it was over 500 last time I talked to a buddy. Yeah,
500.
Wow,
that's a lot.
That's a lot of kids.
Yeah, that's a lot of kids, and so that was your former life. So let me ask you a question. So if you had, I don't know, let's say 10 sophomores in JUCO, and they wanted to come back, it would be up to the coaching staff to say yay or nay, or if you bring one back, you got to bring everybody back.
No, it's up to the coaching staff.
Up to the coaching staff. Okay, man. So you better perform.
Yeah.
But okay. So with the season cut short, what are you going off of? Are you going off of and I'm not putting you on the spot, guys. It's just a broad question. So what would they be going off of? Would they be going off of stats, or is it going to be just the whole player, whether they're a good student, good teammate? What do you think some of the parameters are to keep some of those players?
Man, you got to go off of stats.
Off of
You gotta
stats?
go off stats.
Okay. So, hey, game changer.
Yeah, real big.
So keep that game changer going.
So take us through like the day of a scout. What do you look for? Like, what's the first thing that you look for?
Sky-wise, so we get to the park, man. You know, we get there early. You get to check out BP. Like Josh said, man, 5 o'clock, you could be a great BP hitter, but come game time, if you can't hit,
Yeah.
you know, you can't hit. But so we get there early, get to the park early, watch BP, you know, get to see a guy take a couple of swings. That way you kind of have an idea of, you know, what the swing looks like, and then, you know, see what he does in the game. But mainly, man, it's just watching guys, you know, just watching their actions, how they interact with their teammates, you know, how they handle certain situations, pressure, stuff like that. So,
That's big.
How big's the eye test for you?
big time, man.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people don't understand. That's the first thing. You
That
know,
is
when you,
That's what
I
that's
tell
what helped
people.
me. Like that's what got me to where I was.
Thank you.
Like,
And we'll talk about that. But before we go into that, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Coach?
Yeah, so I started out at Deer Park High School, coach at Deer Park for about 6 years.
Who was the coach there?
My first year was Ricky Crawford.
Okay.
And then after that was Emrick Jagno for 5.
Okay. How was Jagano?
He's tough. He's tough, man. Old
Got some
guy.
nice stories about that guy.
Oh yeah. But was there for 6. Followed him. Went to Houston Christian for 1.
Okay.
Then after Houston Christian, went to Southern University.
Okay.
That's my first year with Santos.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
How was it out there?
it's different.
Was
It was
it?
different. Yeah.
Okay. Well, before we go further, let's talk about it. How was the jump from high school to college, to
Man.
D1 college, as a
Yeah.
matter of fact,
It was
and
like-
at HBCU?
It was an eye opener for me,
Okay.
big time. You know.
For the good or for the bad?
No, for the good.
Okay.
Yeah, for the good. Especially, you know, man, I was young, and going in, I thought, I know a lot. Not till you get to college, especially at the D1 level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it was a big time learning situation for me. And the coach there at the time was Coach Roger Kadar. Man, he's the godfather of the SWAC, and to be able to coach under him and learn a lot of things, he really helped me really get started in the college coaching career.
Okay.
And then, unfortunately, I was only there for 1 year. Then went to Alvin.
Okay.
I was at Alvin for 5-6 years.
Okay.
And then now with the Reds.
Okay. So when you're at, let's go back to Southern, because that I want to know how does a high school coach get hired by a D1 school? Excuse me, I got time. Did you send is it like a other job? You send resumes, or how is that?
I
Don't
guess-
get too specific.
No,
but
I guess
how does
that's
that
how.
happen?
Yeah, I guess that's how it happens. But for me, it was a very unusual situation, man. I was working with the Houston Astros at the Urban Youth Academy,
Okay.
and back then they had the Urban Youth Classic at Minute Maid,
Okay.
and I worked that for about 2 years, and that's where I met Coach Kadar.
Okay.
And we just kept in contact after that. And then, unfortunately, one of his assistants had to leave the program. And then that's when he gave me a call and see if I'd be interested.
Now, when you got that phone call, how long did it take you in order to accept that position?
I think I told him I'd go there before I even talked to my wife.
Oh,
Yeah. So I had to break it to her. But, I mean, that's what I always wanted to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, in my situation too, man, I had to go over there and live in Baton Rouge and leave the family behind.
Right.
You know, because it was just, I think I got there during the spring season starting. I wasn't there in the fall.
Okay.
I was there maybe the last 2 weeks, but I came in right in the spring, so we didn't have time to move the family or anything. So just had to go there, finish the season, start the season.
Okay. So you finished that season, then you were done, then you went to Alvin, or you finished the spring semester and then you were there for the fall?
No, finished the spring.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how was it when you were there? How was the baseball? How did they treat you? How did the coach treat you? What was your time like there?
Man, it was great. The biggest difference is trying to make the adjustment with the college kids.
Okay.
You know, for 6 years I was dealing with high school guys, and then when you make the jump and dealing with those college kids, it's a different situation. You know, these are young men,
Right.
not kids, young men. So you just had to watch the way you talk to them, because you want them to respect you, and that's one thing coming in. I knew I couldn't talk to them the way I talked to high school guys,
Right.
So, but it was a different situation, man. The SWAC's just a different. It's a different league. The competition level. There's some good kids, but then there's kids that that need some work.
Mm-hmm.
They're always talking about in the SWAC, you can't hit people can't hit curveballs, So it was definitely a learning experience. But Coach Kadar, he let me run with it. There was not a lot that he didn't allow me to do. He just let me run with it, and so I just had to learn on the fly. And if there's something I did wrong, he brought me in the office. Hey, let's try this. Different approach. But I like the guy. He was a great guy.
Was he?
Great coach and even better mentor to those guys. And I mean, he just made them better men.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you went from high school to college, you realized that you had a lot to learn.
Oh, big time.
Now, do you attribute that to because it's just a different game, or your mindset was different? Explain that a little bit, because we have a lot of parents that are watching, and maybe they've talked to a scout, maybe they haven't. So I just want you to just elaborate just on that, because I know it's a big difference, but if you can just explain just the difference between that.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a big difference, especially the speed of the game.
Mm-hmm.
A lot faster than in high school.
Right.
So that is what I had to get used to, and then again, letting these, coaching these guys up and, letting them go out there and play, not do a lot of coaching during the game, just let them play. You do your coaching in practice.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the biggest thing too, because in high school I always coaching during the game, so I tried to do that my first couple of times. Coach Kadar was like, "Nah, man, we don't coach in the game. We let those guys play. We coach them up in practice."
For sure.
Now, was there ever at any point during your short time at Southern that you were either in your house or your apartment, you're like, man, I made the wrong decision. I should have stayed back in high school?
Nah, man, not really. The only thing is just missing the family, not being able to go, down there and see them. Only when we go down there and play, Texas Southern, and Prairie View A&M. It's the only time I got to go see them. But no, it was a great experience for me. I think that's really where I started my career, and I, being there is, I think helped me where I'm at now.
Nice.
So.
Okay, hindsight being 2020, if you were single, would you have made that jump a lot sooner, or would you have stayed there a little bit longer in the college game, whether it's JUCO or whatever?
No, I think I would have stayed there a little longer. Yeah,
Okay.
it was just a different situation, man. I would love to stay there, but the school got into some trouble, so it was going to be hard to recruit. Matter of fact, they were put on probation, so you're going to have to recruit with no scholarships. And coach's like, man, your first year, that's going to be tough. So.
Yeah, okay, so you're at Southern, then you come down to Alvin. Okay, so now you're at home with the family. So I'm sure that's just like a great job right then and there. Yeah. Or am I off base on that?
No, it was great, going in there, learning what I bringing from what I learned at Southern,
Okay.
coming over here to Alvin. Baseball's different too. It was definitely different. A lot more hands-on, a lot more coaching. Because in JUCO, man, there's no rules. You practice every day for as many hours as you want.
Like
so
the legends.
But it's,
Come on, man.
That was good.
We're breaking the code.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it's year-round baseball.
Yeah.
It's year-round baseball, really. So these kids get a lot of opportunity, a lot of reps, to get better. So.
Now, when you're at Alvin, and you're going around, when do you have time to go and scout kids? Because you have your job at Alvin that you're responsible for, I'm sure. And now, at some point in time, they're going to ask you to recruit. So how did you balance that? On off days, your own time? How did that happen?
Man, really just, on my own time. There's days that I'd miss games just to go watch high school games, and then just having the relationships I do with these select coaches like Josh, man, You know, I use these guys a lot. You know, I call Josh up, hey man, what do you got? You know, do you see anybody else out there you think I should get on? You know, but yeah, it's just making time. You know, as soon as we get done with practice, I mean, we start practice at 2:00 and we're done by 4:30, 5:00. So it gives me plenty of time to go watch high school baseball. And like I said, if I had to take a game off, series off and go recruit, that's what I do.
Oh, and they would let you?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. Schreiber would let you do that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Now, I'm going to bring this back because you said you talked to Josh. What is the relationship that you guys, and I'm just going to blank in you guys, what's the relationship that you guys have with high school coaches and also select baseball coaches?
Man,
is it different? Is it how is it?
No, man, it's a fraternity. I mean, we trust these guys a lot, and we trust their opinion because there's we can't be at one place.
Correct.
So being able to call these guys up and get their honest opinion about a player, it's very important.
Okay. So the relationship with both of them are equally good?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do you ever run into a situation where you get a different opinion from the high school coach as opposed to the select baseball coach? Has that ever come across?
And just a little bit, but the high school coaches they're pretty much going to be straight up.
Okay.
They're going to be straight up. Their job is to win. And their job is to try to get those guys moved on to the next level.
Okay.
They know how important it is to keep that relationship with the college coaches, so they're not gonna lie. And if they do, we ain't gonna mess with that guy anymore.
Yeah.
Now, how about the select coaches? The same. So the relationship's the same with the select.
Man, you got to watch out for a couple of them. Josh Jones. No, but you do. You going out into these tournaments, every weekend. You get a feel for who these coaches are,
Mm-hmm.
so who you can trust, who you can't trust, and who's lying to you, and
Right.
So, but yeah, no, I rely on these guys a lot.
I just got a DM right now. What is the youngest age you scout?
7U.
7U. There you go. 7U.
Let's see if his mom carries his bag.
That's fun. Now, okay. So I got to ask you this because I get this question a lot. So I know a lot of guys who scout and who are coaches and who high school coaches and all that. So when you're recruiting, right? When you go out and recruit, here's the biggest misconception, because a lot of people will get upset at scouts or recruiters because they don't go to the high school game. Okay. And then you guys, and I'm just paraphrasing you guys, will just go to big tournaments. Okay. I'm not of the opinion that's bad for you guys, because you have your job to do, and you can't go to every high school game. You just can't do it. I mean, even if you tried, you couldn't do it. But a lot of people don't understand that. They're like, oh man, my high school coach ain't doing anything for these kids. I don't see no recruiters here. I don't see this. I don't see that. Dude, I mean, there's only so many recruiters in the city of Houston, and there's only so many games that they can go to. Mm-hmm. Okay. If they go to a 4:00 game, maybe they can't go to the 7:00 game, or they're going to have to figure it out, or maybe they can hit Memorial and hit Rayburn. They can do whatever. Okay. My thing, where I'm in y'all's corner, is when y'all go to the big tournaments, you get to see everybody.
Exactly.
And right there is perceived the best of the best.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, opinions may vary. And just like Coach said, are you going to hit at 7:00 or when the game comes on? And so what's your take on that when parents are pissed off? And not that you deal with parents, but let's be honest. When you walk in, are you going to wear that hat, or are you going to wear your red stuff?
No. So scouting wise, no, we're not going to wear the red stuff. No, I want to see these guys, how they play, assuming there's nobody there watching them.
Okay.
How they go about their business. Again, how they, their routine before the game, how they interact with their, their teammates and stuff like that. Yeah, when I go out recruiting, I tell guys, you don't see me in reds, you don't see me in Alvin stuff, because I want to see those guys how they play the game without,
in their true form.
Right, exactly. Okay.
Now, if you're on this side of town, a lot of people know you're on this side of town. Do parents come up and try to talk to you? Or do you stay away?
No, man, that's not really me. I like to talk to parents because, honestly, especially now with scouting, parents give you a lot of information you might not know.
Right.
They might give you the dirt on some other kid. So yeah, no, I mean especially when you're out, recruiting a kid, you want to build that relationship with those parents, because when it's time to,
talk money.
Yeah, get that guy on campus. You want to have that relationship before you get there.
Okay.
So.
Now, so you're at Alvin, and then now you're with the Cincinnati Reds. How does that happen? Is it like what we talked about? You send a resume, or somebody knows you, and there's an open spot, then you get that?
Yeah, no, I mean, you send out your resume. It's all about, making those connections.
Okay.
It's making those connections. When the scouts come to the game, being able to talk to those guys, and they ask you, hey, coach, what's your – you ever interested in scouting? When I first started Alvin, I wasn't. I wanted, to coach in college. And after a couple of years, I was like, you know what? I might be interested in scouting. So just keeping those relationships and just asking guys, hey, if the opportunity comes about, let me know if you hear something. And that's really how it started, man. I interviewed with 4 other clubs before I got this job.
Wow.
So.
And so once you get the call, how long does it take you to accept the job?
And this one was kind of easy. Because,
Really?
Yeah, this one was easy because this one was actually in the backyard. I didn't have to move. So my territory, South Texas,
Nice.
Louisiana, so didn't have to move the family. But I did have one job offer. It was, I was going to have to move to another state, and that one I had to think about, and just it wasn't the right move for me at that time.
Okay. So you happy with the Cincinnati Reds right now?
I am, man.
Did they take you out to Cincinnati, or did you go out there?
No,
or?
we didn't get. We're going to get the opportunity to go before we got shut down.
Okay.
But we didn't get the opportunity to go out there.
Yeah, that little downtown area where the football and the baseball stadium's at, man, it's nice,
clean?
dude. Oh, yeah.
One of my
it's real
good
nice.
friends was supposed to get married in last month in Cincinnati, so I was gonna go catch a ball game. So, man,
Yeah,
I
it's
was
nice,
trying
dude.
to go there.
Yeah, it's real nice. So whenever you get a chance to go out there. So did you go? Were you in spring training, or did they take you out there for meetings or anything?
No. I got hired on late, so I missed all that.
Okay, so I have a question for you. I've heard for a long time that the Cincinnati Reds don't look at anybody under 6'1", 6'2". That true?
Man, I don't know.
Get back to me on that one, because I've heard it for years. I'm talking like 10 years now. I've heard it, and so when you see, man, I'm not gonna say it's true, but when I went to spring training, there are no short people there, and so as coach right here can attest. How tall are you, coach?
6'5".
Okay, yeah. So if you're not 6'5",
Yeah.
I mean the eye test. I mean
Yeah.
that is. I mean
that pops out.
yeah,
man.
that pops out, right? And for everybody that tells me Altuve and Fernando Vina and all them,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to give you those 5 guys. But that's 5 guys in 20 years.
Those are just different dudes.
Yeah,
man.
Yeah,
Those are different dudes.
exactly. And with different dudes with different mindsets. So,
Yeah.
I mean, not that you can't make it there, but, man, all those dudes are big. Look at him. He's big.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, now, Coach, let's talk about you,
Yeah.
man.
Let's
So,
get
you
into
where are you from?
Southwest side of Houston.
Oh,
Texas.
man. So, what high school did you go to?
Westbury.
Westbury.
Went to
What,
Westbury High School.
okay, what?
2001.
What was
That's
that? What was that? 5A, 6A?
5A, 17 5A.
17 5A.
Yeah,
okay.
I came out. I was at Westbury. Then you had Chris Young at Bel Air. You
Okay.
had Vince Blue at Lamar.
Nice.
So we was all in the same district.
Yeah.
Okay.
01,
cool.
2001.
Nice. Yeah. That was a good district. That was a
Yeah.
good district.
Yeah.
So how did y'all do in Westbury?
My first 3 years were pretty good. My senior year was pretty rough, and that's kind of like that's kind of like my testimony when I talk to these kids and I talk to the parents, because like talking to Mike, I've seen his journey as a assistant coach, being a great coach, and then we're seeing him scout. It's a different part of the game. Like
Right.
my senior year, we won maybe 8 games, and I know you all know Calvin Michelada.
Yes.
That was the only pitcher we had. So basically, every game we won, he pitched. But I actually got looked at because I kind of started falling in love with basketball. Like baseball was my game. It came easier to me, but like you were saying earlier about the attitude and the demeanor, I never forget. And like Mike said, I was in center field and we was playing Bel Air, and our second base had just made three errors in a row. long story short, he put his glove on his face. I see his body language. I call a timeout from center field. I run into second base, tell him, hey, it's your time. It's our last game in high school. My career's over with. It's all about you. I run back to center field after the game. The Angel Scout gave me his card and was like, I've always liked you on the field, but that right there showed your character. Yeah. That showed your personality. That showed me the kind of teammate you were. So that kind of where, when I talk to my parents and I talk to my kids, I always tell them, like, everybody can play baseball at the higher level, but it's your attitude, it's your work ethic, it's your personality, it's the way you treat your teammates, it's how you carry yourself. When you get into the clubhouse, are you a very likable guy, or to yourself? So it's the intangible things that take you a lot further than your talent when you get to that next level.
Right.
For sure.
How bad did y'all lose to Lamar and Bel Air?
My senior year, yeah, but my junior year, well, I always say we beat Bel Air one game when they won state. I think they won state 99. The ball game was over. Rocky Manuel come on the field.
What did he do? Oh, hold on. Before you start, I played for Rocky Manuel at Milby. Great coach.
Milby, yeah. Great guy.
Great coach.
But I've never seen umpires so scared of nobody in my life.
Oh, he intimidated everybody.
So, hey, Mike, check this out. So, it's a true story. It was a 3-2 ball game. Bel Air had a runner on third base with 2 outs. Our center fielder runs, dives, catches the ball. Umpire calls it a catch, right? Rocky comes on the field. Ball game over with. We home team. Rocky comes on the field. I don't know what he said. I don't know what he did. All of a sudden, they overturn the call. Tie ball game. The guy, they called it a hit. He on base next pitch home run. We lose the ball game. Right? So I have never seen a guy with pull like Rocky. But we beat Lamar a few times. That's when I had Jeff Neiman.
Okay.
Neiman was there.
Yeah, with Blue.
For sure. So, but my senior year we wasn't good at all. But my sophomore and junior we were pretty stacked.
It's funny that you bring that up because I had a friend. Whose phone is on? Is that your phone? Or that one? I had a friend who coaches high school that played Bel Air in the Bel Air tournament, and Coach Manuel changed the rules of the Bel Air tournament when they were losing, and ended up being that the 2 teams ended up 3-1.
He changed the rules?
Yeah, they ended up 3-1, right? And they beat Bel Air, but Bel Air won the tournament. Yeah. I'm going to get him on the phone afterwards. Yeah. No, that happened.
Hey, Rocky Manuel,
man. I know you're listening. Text me about that because I saw you text me earlier. But, yeah. But it's funny how when we got to the field, we already knew we were going to win because the umpires were already on our side because all he had to do was just go up there and talk to them, and they were done. They were done. The only time I didn't see that happen was when – I think they beat Corpus Christi Moody in state in Austin at Dish Falk one year, and I cannot remember the year that was. But yeah, man, this coach, man, I saw him a couple of years ago in Waco at the coaches convention. I hadn't seen Coach in like about 15 years. Man, he was loud. Man, he embarrassed the shit out of me, man. I was trying to
Mike,
leave,
you know
man.
Rocky?
Oh yeah.
yeah. So his son, what's his son's name?
Robbie.
Yeah,
Okay.
Robbie, there you go. Yeah,
so when
Robbie.
I was at Milby, Robbie was like 5. He was like so tall, and he ended up playing for the Reds, right? I think he played for the Reds, yeah. And does he still coach over there? I think he coaches over there, right?
Robbie's coaching some select organization. I can't know.
Robbie is?
I think so.
I haven't seen him since high school.
Yeah, but I think he's coaching at Bel Air. I'm not sure.
I know Zuna's at Bel Air, right?
Yeah,
Ozuna.
yeah. But Manuel's back. He retired, and then somebody told me he's coaching again, JV at Bel Air or something like that.
I did hear that.
Yeah, so that was funny. But yeah, he changed the rules, and so Bel Air won the Bel Air tournament. But anyway, go ahead. And so then after that, so you're playing. The guy, the scouts gives you the card. When he gave you the card, what were you thinking, man?
So I was and let me try. I don't want to I don't want to talk about myself for too long, but so actually, I was committed to UMass for basketball.
Okay.
Right, but when I was young, I was always in the state of like, I'm a big spiritual guy, right? So I would just always be like, God, please, find a way, let me play college basketball, professional baseball. So long story short, that last game, I would go to all these workouts, the Reds, Diamondbacks, and wasn't nothing really shaking from it, you know. And when the guy gave me the card, his name was Mike Powers. I'll never forget, he was my scout. I didn't call him back for like 2 weeks, you know. And one night, you know, I prayed on it, and I woke up, I found the card, I called him, and he's like, "What took you so long?" And I was like, you know, well, I just got tired of the games, and I haven't heard anything. And he came to West Bay, worked me out every day, put me on the travel team. And I ended up signing with the Angels, but when I took the money, I lost my D1 eligibility.
Right.
So I ended up going to NAIA school in Dillard to play basketball because my mom was like, "You're going to get your education, you know, you're going to school, you know, you can play baseball, you know, when you get done." But so I would always I would play basketball from, you know, October until April, and then I would, you know, finish up with the season, finish my classes, and head straight to extended spring and spring training. So
nice.
That's kind of like my story right there with the basketball. Then when I signed with the Reds, they told me I couldn't play basketball anymore. So I ended up leaving the school and went to the Reds, and I got released, and then went to HBU, played a year there, and then I signed with the Marlins after that. So my journey has been, you know, around the world and everything else, but
nice.
That's kind of, you know,
That's
where it happened. Yeah, for sure.
Now, did you play basketball at Westbury?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, I averaged. I was 28 and 14 a game my senior year.
Dang.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
who was the coach at UMass? Was it who was it? Shit, I can't remember. That was after.
I can't even think. That's a
Calipari.
while ago. Yeah, Calipari had left. I can't even think of this guy's name.
I think it was Pete something. I can't remember his name.
Because he ended up going to UCLA.
Man,
he
so
left there.
so do you ever regret not going out there?
I do in a way because I wasn't ready for professional baseball at 17 years old. I'll never forget when I signed my contract, my mom and dad had to sign it because I wasn't of a legal age, you know, and I don't have any regrets, but I look at like, you know, like what Mike was saying, like college, I think everything in life should be stepping stones. Right, and I think if I would have went to college and played basketball, there's no doubt I think I would have been in the NBA. But I still was blessed to have a career overseas, so
Right.
I don't really have any regrets because, you know, my baseball career led me to where I am right now. So for sure.
Now, so when do you decide to go play basketball overseas, and how does that come about? Your agent or
Agent, yeah.
Okay.
So when I was playing baseball, I always had, you know, I always kept something in my back pocket because I know how the baseball game is.
Right.
And then once you leave your original team and then you start getting free agent deals, you don't really know what your next deal is going to be like or your next job until the draft comes. Because I can go to spring training and rake as a free agent, but then the draft comes and they draft 15 outfielders in 40 and 30 rounds. There's no room for you.
Yeah.
So I was always that person to where I would work out in basketball in the offseason. I would always stay with it. And when I left the Marlins, I think in 2007, I ended up going to China. So I played in China for a couple of months, and then my basketball career just took off from there. And I had more baseball deals, but I was making more money playing basketball, you know, than I was in the minor league. So I just stuck with basketball from that avenue. And then when I got around 2012, so you know, I used to be with the Rebels. You know, me and Metlock was with the Rebels, and I would always leave, go play basketball, and then, you know, I just got tired of walking in and out of the kids' life, so I finally just stayed home, and then we kind of branched off, did our separate thing, and started the Blue Chips.
Nice. Let me go back to basketball. So you played at China. Where else did you play at?
Man, I played in China, I played in Korea, I played in Dubai, I played in Qatar, I played in Saudi, I played in Indonesia, I played in Mexico.
Nice.
I played everywhere, man.
Nice.
I've been around the world twice, man. It's been a blessing, but, you know, as I got older, man, it gets lonely out there, man. I played in Indonesia. As a matter of fact, I was in Syria right before everything went on. And Samaki Walker, I don't know if you all know who Samaki Walker, Lakers? Yeah. So I'll never forget, they called us to the passport office and was like, hey, we're going to cancel the season. We're going to suspend the season for 2 weeks, you know, so we're going to give you all passports, but, you know, we'll give you your money for the month, but we're not going to play until they let us resume. So whenever they do stuff like that, you know, something's about to happen. And my gut instinct told me to come home, and then I was in the Levo. Yeah, I played in the Levo, and everything just went left. But, yeah, that's
I've known some guys that played overseas, and I've heard some good stories, and I've heard some horror stories. How hard is it to get paid over there?
If you're not winning, hard.
Is it?
If you winning, money gonna be good. But if you don't win,
I've known some guys that didn't
you
get
might
paid.
have to sit out a few games. Yeah. If you're not winning, you're not gonna get paid. But if you winning, they gonna pay you because they need to keep playing. So
yeah, I know some guys that went over there and played. That played in France, played in the Philippines, played in Panama, and they got good money deals. No taxes.
Yeah, no taxes.
Houses.
And they come knock on the door and they count the money out right there, like all the $100 bills, just hand it to you. And you're like, how am I gonna get home with all this money on me? Like, I'm only supposed to bring $10,000 into the States.
Yeah,
no, that's tax free.
When one of my friends told me that because he was actually playing for the Rockets, and I saw him and he was like, I'm like, hey dude, I said, how's the season? He goes, I go, man, I'm flipping. I'm like, really? Yeah. I'm like, where you going? He goes, man, I'm going to the Philippines. I'm like, really? He goes, bro, tax free. Tax free. And he told me how much he was getting paid. I was like, I think I'd have to go
you
too.
Make good money overseas, man.
Yeah, but then other guys always told me about the horror stories too, about not getting paid.
My last year in Indonesia was like
for real?
that.
Yeah, see,
what's crazy?
That's tough.
The coach signed me, and the president of the team didn't even know. So I get down there, the president like, who are you? And I'm like, well, you signed me. He's like, no, he didn't. And I'm like, hold on, I got a plane ticket down here. You don't know who I am. But yeah, it's crazy because you play by their rules.
Yeah,
you play by their rules, and there's nothing you can do. They don't pay you. They say you can sue, but you're not gonna get your money. So
how was it playing over there in Qatar and all that?
Amazing.
Was it really?
But you know how they say you don't. It's just kind of like baseball. Like you don't really appreciate it until you're out of it completely. While you're playing and you get caught in the moment, you don't really appreciate what you have until it's gone. So, it's just like spring training. I think that's the best part of baseball. Like Qatar was the same way. Qatar and Dubai is overseas, they treat you like a person, not an object. Okay. And that's one thing I loved about it. Here, if you're not, Kyle Tucker, for example, you said Kyle, like, if you're struggling, like, they're not going to be your friend here. But overseas, you can struggle and you walk out the arena and it's, they just want to touch you. They're going to love you for who you are, not for what you do. So Qatar was nice. I enjoy. It's too much money out there, though.
Yeah. Okay. So I was going to ask you.
Too much money.
So what was better, Qatar or Dubai?
Qatar.
Really?
Because it wasn't Americanized yet. It was more like it was closed. So it wasn't. It was a closed country. But they park Rolls Royce in the sand, dirty. Just leave them there. Like it's crazy. Like how much money they have out there.
I tell people this all the time. I've never seen as many Bentleys than I saw when I went to South Korea.
For sure.
In South Korea, I think you would think everybody have a Hyundai or whatever. Yeah. Dude, shitload of Bentleys out there, man. I came out of I came out of the airport and I saw one. I was like, maybe. Then I started seeing 2 and 3. I'm like, bro, I was expecting to see Hyundais, but no, I saw a bunch of Bentleys out there. So, okay, so you're overseas and then you come back?
I come back and I would coach. But like I said, the basketball was the second half of my career.
Okay.
Baseball was the first half. But yeah, I would go overseas. I would come home. Then I would coach. Then I would leave and go again. Because when you're playing basketball overseas, every summer is an off season.
Right.
Some guys get 1 or 2 year deals. But the thing is, I had signed with this one team in Qatar, and I got invited to go play in the Asian Cups with another team. And then with the team I signed with, got mad at me for going with the other team. They cut my contract and took my car that same day. And I'm like, I thought you would sign me for next year. Like, no more contract. I'm like, man, that's cold. So, overseas, there's no rules, man. There's no rules over there.
And I heard that. Man, so, okay, so you come back over. Mm-hmm. When you decided to stop that you mentioned earlier, that was it? It was out of your blood?
It was out of my blood. But see, that's why I went to play basketball, because I knew I couldn't go into baseball fresh from getting released, because I would have been angry at the game.
Okay.
Because, like Mike is a scout now, so it's like when you're playing the game and you go into spring training every day and you go into the season and you're playing and you know the politics of the game. Kind of like you said with the investment in the game, you look at the game totally different.
Right.
When you're 1 foot in. So I had to go overseas and play basketball to get baseball out of my system.
Okay.
And then once I got baseball out of my system, I knew I can come back to baseball and give these kids everything I had, because I no longer held the grudge towards the game. Okay. So that was like my purpose. When I had to go play basketball because I was angry. Like with the Marlins, that spring training, like I tore it up. I hit like 4 or something. I led the team in stolen bases and triples and doubles. Like I was banging. You know, and because I worked in the whole offseason with Bo Porter for like a year and a half. He's like my mentor. He was our agent for a while. So he actually signed me with the Marlins because he was the he was the manager at Jamestown that year in A-ball. So, you know, when that didn't shake, I was just angry. So I had to get away from the game, step out, you know, and get my mind off of it. Then when I came back, I was ready to, you know, get back into it and give these kids what I had. Okay.
Well, so we're going to talk about the Blue Chips in a little while, but I want to ask you, how many Americans were on the team? How many foreigners? Just one? You?
Yeah. Just
that was
me.
it?
And it was because, you know.
Because that's tough.
In the Middle East, it's a Muslim country too, right? So it's no social life. You know, I have never been to jail in my life. Never. But I felt like I tried to sleep as much of the day away as I could. Like I would go to sleep, like right now, overseas, I would be just waking up. You know, just because it was just a different, it was a different life. So it was one American on each team, and then we were pretty spread out. And they gave us cars, but for you to go see somebody on the other team, it was an hour drive to get to their house. So it was just like, it was practice. And back then we didn't have Wi-Fi. You had to go to the computer lab. Like, you know, you had to go to a
struggle.
You had to go to a computer cafe. So I would sit in the computer cafe for 7-8 hours, and then go home and go to sleep, wake up, go to practice. So I slept from like 6 in the morning to like 2 in the evening. You know, and then I'll go to practice. So I'll stay up all night so I can be on American time.
Now, let me ask you a question. How was the food over there?
Amazing.
Was it really?
Amazing.
Okay. Because I know some people struggle when they go to
I'll
that
try
part of the
everything
world.
once. Now, China was bad. I know China's a touchy subject right now, but the food in China, you know, it was so funny because, you know, with me being a black guy, they would always tell me chicken. Like everything is chicken. And I'm like, man, this thing is on a stick, like looking at me like this isn't a chicken. They're like, no, chicken. I'm like, no, man, it's not chicken. So the food in China wasn't too tasty.
Okay.
But everywhere else, the Middle East had good food. They had good culture. I played in the Middle East my whole career. I didn't really do Europe.
Oh, okay.
I was more Middle East.
Nice. Okay, so then you come back. And then let's get to where you start the Blue Chips. How did you go about starting the Blue Chips? Was that something that you always wanted to do, or something that fell into you?
Something that just a calling.
Okay.
My plan was to teach high school and coach high school baseball.
Okay.
That was kind of like my goal. But when I started doing lessons, you know, I started picking up more and more kids at lessons, and I started getting like a magnitude of kids of the same age. Okay. And so the parents talked me into it, and it was like, hey, you know, you want to start a team? So that came to where me and Calvin started the Rebels, you know, and so when we split off, I had my team that I coached, and he had this team that he coached. So I just kept my team, and I named them the Blue Chips, and he kept his team Rebels Nation, and named it and just kept it the Rebels.
Okay. Now, so now you guys, now you started Blue Chips. So how did you grow? You just one after another over time?
I just believe in doing things right.
Okay.
You know, I was always honest. You know, I tell the parents, like, I don't care about winning. Like, I want to win, but my goal, and Micah know, because I want you to win later in life. And I would tell the parents, I mean, I've lost a lot of great kids because the parents ruined it for them. Okay. You know, because of the fact of they wanted instant gratification, but I'm all about the long run. So I would always tell the parents, and eventually I started getting parents that had the same vision as me, and then I would grow, and then I have some parents who didn't believe in me and didn't believe in my vision, and they would leave, and eventually, you know how it go, you know, you start getting more kids, and we just kind of took off from there.
Okay, so where are you at now? I know you got a newer facility,
right? A newer facility in Danbury, close to Angleton.
That's what, 2, 3, 4 years old? How old is it? The new one?
3 years.
3 years?
Yeah.
Well, how did that come about?
So we was at Texas Cages in Alvin, and we just started getting too crowded. I mean, we had like wrecks happening in the parking lot. I mean, they had to park at the garages, and I mean, the instructors that were doing that wasn't with the Blue Chips. They didn't have room to do their lessons, and so one of our parents was a realtor, and she ended up telling me there was a facility in Danbury. So we have a lot of kids that come from the Brazoria County, Lake Jackson, Freeport area. So I thought that would be a happy medium for them to drive there, and then the kids that's closer to like Pearland, Friendswood, League City will go to the one in Alvin. And she told me Danbury, and I'm like, what? Who? And she took me there, and the person that was selling the building was so when I bought the building, it was a gymnastics center. Okay. So I just kind of gutted the building and kind of made it the baseball academy. So, but yeah, that's how I ended up getting there.
Nice. And so now that you have that facility, how's that working out for you? Has it increased your players or?
No, it has, but I think select baseball now has gotten to the point to where I think it's too big as far as no purpose behind it.
Okay.
I'm a firm believer of development because my goal is to get them to Mike. And you see a lot of kids that chase trophies, but they don't learn how to play. And when you reach puberty and you get to a certain age, the game levels out.
Right.
So then the mental part of the game kicks in. So my approach, it's kind of, it's a good thing for me, but a lot of parents don't see it that way. So I don't really. My facility is just for blue chips. Like, I don't rent it out to nobody.
Okay.
I don't have anything with it. It's just blue. Like, if Junior say I want to come hit, I'll give him the key to come hit. But I don't run it like a facility. I run it just as a home five player. So we've grown, but this year we're kind of growing more in the like League City, Friendswood. But then last year it was more Brazoria County. So it kind of balances each other out.
Nice. Any plans to get bigger or move outside of the so-called comfort zone?
I've had opportunities to.
Okay.
But
what's stopping you?
Purpose.
Okay.
I don't want to get too big to the point where I lose what my purpose is.
Okay.
Like I have over 200 plus kids now, but I know them all by name.
Okay.
I know their personalities. God just blessed me with that gift, but I don't want to get to the point to where I lose my purpose within the game. Because when I stop loving, when it stops being about the kids and it becomes a business, then I don't think you deserve to be in it anymore because you're going to hurt the kids and not help them get to where they need to get to.
And that happens a lot.
A lot. I've had opportunities. And the thing is, a lot of people ask to franchise the organization, to use the name, and they want to pay me a fee. And I'm like, no, I take pride in being first class. And if I let somebody pay me to use the name and they're out there on the field acting a fit, it makes the organization look bad.
No, yeah.
So that's kind of where I am with it. We've had plenty of opportunities to grow, but I don't want to lose my purpose within the game.
Okay.
Yeah, man, hey, that's awesome. I mean, that's what it's all about. Because once you stop having fun, like it becomes more like a hassle, sort of. Like you said, you can start getting tired of the game, start getting angry. So
and then also the more kids you get, the more parents you get too.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, if you can take the parents to understand what, and you coach, what it is. It's like if the parents can see your vision and understand it, but a lot of them don't realize it till it's too late. And you've seen kids that you coach and 5 years down the line, Mike, you've seen kids and they haven't grown. You've seen a kid that was good at 12, he went ring chasing. Then when you see him at 16, he never developed.
And how much do you see that, Coach?
Man, a lot. And Josh brought up a good point, man. He brought up that word development. I believe there's a lot of teams out there that don't do a lot of development. It's a lot about winning, ring chasing. It's funny, man, how you get a lot of parents come talk to you, especially when I was out recruiting. My son was on this team. We won this many tournaments.
Yeah, for sure.
That's the last thing I want to hear, man. It's funny because when you go watch these kids, especially when you work them out, a lot of these kids are only taught how to showcase, how to showcase. And when you get these guys on the field and you go watch them play, a lot of these kids don't know the game. They don't know the game, and I've seen what Josh does and a lot of these other organizations do a great job, man. They actually have a classroom they teach their guys, man. I see you post stuff on Facebook, teaching them the game. That's very important because when you get to our level, when I was at Alvin, you better know the game because we don't have time to go back and teach you. You know what I'm saying?
I look at and this is just me as an example. I got the pro ball at 18, right? So that's like Mike was saying, let's get the spring training. Let's say me and Junior, we both get the pro ball at 18 years old. But we're the same age physically, but he's been getting coached up since he was 10. So where I come in the game at 18 years old and I'm raw, but he come in the game at 18 years old, but he's been coached from 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. He's already 8 years ahead of me mentally, which is going to impact me. I'll never forget my first game in spring training. It's a true story, Mike. You're going to laugh your butt off at this. I'm in right field, right? And my coach was like, Jones, straight away. Brian Harper was my manager then. He's like, straight away. And I'm in right field. And I'm like, what? He's like, straight away. And I'm like, man, I was just taught to go catch the ball. I have no idea what straight away is. And so I get back in the dugout, and he's just chewing my butt out. Like, you don't know, who was your baseball coach? Who taught you baseball? I was like, my science teacher. And I was 18. I wasn't trying to be funny, but I was serious. And he's like, no, you line up right behind third base and second base. And I'm like, wow, I never knew anything like that. And I've been playing baseball my whole life. So behind closed doors, like Mike was saying, In pro ball, everything's behind closed doors.
Yeah.
And what was hard for me is there's no praising. I can go 2 for 3 with 2 jacks, and nobody's gonna say nothing. I can go 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts, and the coach isn't gonna say anything. You know, you hit a home run, and you're not in the lineup the next day.
Yeah.
They put the first rounder back in. You know, so it's so much more mental that you have to be prepared for when you get to that level.
So we all talk about like training skills and getting better, stronger, faster. But you as a multi-professional sport athlete, how did you like feed and train your mind, your mentality?
I don't believe in plan B when I'm playing sports. I believe in giving it all I have and leaving it up to God and just kind of following my path. And I think the main thing is surroundings. I surrounded myself with good friends. Yeah. You know, like, you know, Chris Young, my best friend, John Lucas, and basketball is my best friend, you know. So I've always surrounded myself with people, you know, Blue, everybody that wanted to be just as good as I was or better. So it made me push myself to be a better athlete. So whatever I did, I always made sure I hung out with the right crowd and just hung out with people that was at a higher level that pushed me to get there.
Yeah. So you played sports, both sports at a high level, right?
Mm-hmm.
How was it with you growing up? Were your parents like hard on you growing up?
Mm-mm.
Were they kind of like, if you're good at it, you're good at it? And how was your drive when you were younger?
I think my neighborhood and my surrounding pushed me to be better because, I mean, I grew up in the southwest side of Houston. You go to games and they betting on games. You know, it's like you're in the crowd and somebody betting. If you don't win, they're going to send them at school the next day or walking down the street, you know. So, you know, the thing is, it was a surrounding. I think when we played with pride. We had passion behind it, and we didn't like to lose. I didn't like to be second place. I didn't like to be a loser. Like, if you scored 30, I feel like I'm going to score 35. You went 2 for 3, I'm going to go 3 for 4. And that was just a competition era of it. And select baseball, I think, and I don't want to get onto that level, but when we was growing up, Mike, it was maybe 2 or 3 select teams. And you had to earn your way on that team. It wasn't no like, okay, let's have tryouts. You know, if you miss practice, you get to come back. No, we missed a game, it wasn't no coming back. Mm-hmm. You know, so it just taught us competition. And I think that's just what's lacking in today's games is just, you know, I don't know. I don't see, and I've been around select for a while, and I know you guys have been around it longer. So, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I see the game changing in ways that's not beneficial for the long-term success of kids. Yeah,
I would agree with that. And, you know, Junior made a shirt, Make Select Baseball Great Again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was done as a spoof, but, I mean, actually.
It's true.
It's true. I mean,
it really is.
I mean, if we actually did that, I mean, I think it would be better, but I don't think the business model now won't allow that.
You know what I think it should be? And this is just honest to God truth. I think it should be 12U, play 12U. 13U, play 13. 11U, play 11U. I think the biggest problem right now is that you label kids.
Yes.
And when you start labeling kids, they grow up with this mindset of I'm bigger than my peers or I'm bigger than the game. And I don't think you should label kids. I think if you're 11, you play 11. If you're good, you get bumped up and you play 12, just like we were in high school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you was a freshman, you was good, you play varsity. Yeah. You know, and I think it should just be. It'll teach kids how to compete, you know, instead of having, you know, major AAA, AA, like, no, go play baseball. If you're 11 years old, play 11-year-old baseball. You know, and if you playing somebody better than you, then you're going to have to figure out how to compete.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And I think that gets lost. I mean, we've talked about that, the past 3-4 weeks?
Yeah.
About maybe that should come back into play. Unfortunately, I think those days are over. I mean, what do you think?
I agree with Josh, man. I agree with Josh. You know, 12U, play 12U. You're not doing these kids an injustice. You know, going to high school, man. You know, you're gonna compete against kids your own age. Mm-hmm. You know, it's nothing different. Yeah, and that really became prevalent last week when we talked about the email or a text message that a coach got from an 11U dad to a 14U coach, wanted his 11U son to play 14U so he can be showcased. Was that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it can be showcased.
Man, Mike, you got your work cut out, man.
But stuff like that happens.
It does.
I mean, it happens more than and not to repeat myself from last week, but it happens more than we want to admit.
I mean, the emails I get are crazy.
Okay,
I've had a situation where, you know, a parent was sending me a video of a kid playing on TV in the Little League and just like, hey, this is my kid on Little League World Series on ESPN. Like, he wants to try out for your team. I am not returning that email no matter what, because I'm not impressed with a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm not impressed with the 11-year-old. You know, like when it matters, then. But I mean, I think it's the parents, man. It's everything all in one. But I agree. It's crazy. So Mike, you know, I'll be praying for you, man.
So Mike, let's talk about scouting, okay? Because every parent wants their kid to play D1. Mm-hmm. Every parent wants their kid to go to the pros. We all know that. Let's get all that out the way, okay? And I think you asked the question earlier. Yeah. When do you actually start scouting kids in the United States of America?
So when I was at Alvin Junior College, I always started scouting guys in the 11th grade.
Okay.
You know, and start making a history with those guys. You know, and some I would even offer, you know, during the 11th grade.
Okay.
You know, what's making it harder now is these D1 schools are offering guys as freshmen,
yeah.
8th graders. It's crazy, you know, but that's just the way things are going, man. You know, the competition. But now in the situation that I'm in now, you know, again, we're, you know, now 2020 is about to be over with. Now I'm looking at 21s. But also, you know, when you're going out, you're looking at everybody. Mm-hmm. You know, again, just making side notes on guys. So really, you know, when you got watching a high school game, you know, you'll watch those freshmen, sophomores, you know. But I mean, you're just making mental notes, you know. But
so you're not going to be at a 10U tournament.
No, you won't catch me at a 10U.
Okay, so are you going to be at 11U tournament?
No.
12U?
No.
13U?
No.
Okay, I just want to make sure, Junior.
No, I mean, I saw a lot of scouts at the elite last year. I mean, it's either somebody lying or somebody lying. You know? I think it's just a bunch of dads.
Yeah, they just put a workshop. I think I would like Mike and like some scouts should put a work. And I'm not saying should, but and I think they should charge for the parents to teach the parents about when does it really matter. You know, when does it matter? And that's like you said, you got 13U, 12U that think their kid's going pro tomorrow, and it's like, man, give this kid a chance.
There's a lot of factors that go into that, into going to the next level,
and that is part of the D1 challenge, just to kind of troll around with it, because if you talk to a lot of these select parents, everybody just they put these high expectations on the kids, and not everyone's a D1, not everyone's a D2. You know, there's baseball for everyone. You know.
But Junior, let me ask you a question, because everybody route is different. I believe if you're meant to be somewhere, you're gonna get there no matter what. D1 might not be for everybody.
Right.
Exactly.
You know, I've seen Mike when he was at Alvin. I've seen great D1 kids pass up D1, go to Alvin and get drafted, because it's like, what route do you want? Do you want the educational route, or do you want the route to get drafted? Because when you go to JUCO, you got 2 years to get drafted. Then if not, you still gonna go to the D1 that you were gonna go to as a freshman. Right. So it's like people knock JUCOs and they knock the lower levels, but at the end of the day, I think everybody route is different. You don't have to go D1 to get noticed, you know, at all.
Yeah.
If you're good, we're going to find you.
We're going to find you. Like I said.
Okay, so let me ask you a question, because I hear that all the time. Is that true?
It's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you say that, so not necessarily you're going to find them, but somebody within the baseball network is going to find you if you're good. Okay. Yeah. Now, because I always hear that, and sometimes – and trust me, there's a lot of players that get lost in the shuffle just because of whatever. So I'm glad you brought that up, because that's a big thing. But I'm a big fan of the JUCO Bandits. I like JUCO baseball. When they used to have the JUCO tournament out at Skeeter Stadium, what is it, Constellation Field?
Yeah.
I used to go out there with my daughter when she was like 3 or 4 years old, and I would sit down. I saw Alvin a couple of times play. So I'm a big fan of JUCO baseball. More people should go watch them.
Yeah.
I mean, and whether it's at Wharton, whether it's at Galveston, Blinn, Alvin, San Jack, the fall tournament. What's that called? The fall tournament.
The one San Jack hosts.
Yeah. What's that called?
Tournament of Champions.
Okay. Yeah. Man, that's a good tournament. And I go to some of these games. Man, there's not that many people there. I'm like, shit. There's some good baseball going on here. And it doesn't matter. I mean, it could be Blinn versus Angelina or whatever, Paris. It doesn't matter. And I know I'm just rambling off schools, but I mean, that tournament right there is actually a pretty good tournament, and it baffles me that not too many people go out there and watch the games, and I think they're missing good baseball. But when you're at the JUCO route, like when you were there, I mean, how was it, man? Did you like it? Did you like being in the grind, doing all that stuff?
I did. Every day was a grind for JUCO, you know. There's just a lot of life lessons learned, you know, with those kids, you know. like Josh said, man, he got drafted at 17 years old. And, that's why some clubs are hesitant on drafting high school guys, because a lot of them feel like they're mentally they're not ready.
Not ready,
And you're taking a huge risk on drafting a high school guy and paying them lots of money and then it not working out,
Go ahead.
No, I would like Mike said, I'm going to just reiterate on that. Like, my first spring training, I was 18 years old and my roommate was 33. he get released and he's like, I got a family and kids. I don't have a job. And I'm like, man, I'm going to play Xbox. Like, I can't relate to that. So like Mike said, it's like, going into it I think the earlier you get there, the better it is as far as your career. They give you more opportunity, but mentally, man, it's a grind getting up to spring training every day, and then if you get stuck in extended spring training, you at the baseball field from 7 in the morning to 4 o'clock every day.
Well, it's funny because Blue told us that. Remember his first day at what was it, spring training? Or he was late and didn't have a belt.
Yeah. And Blue, man, they put the belt in your locker. He must have been trying to get the stretch on time.
He said, man, he went out there and he said it was just totally different. So so we hear those same stories from people like you guys who have experienced that. So
you realize how good those guys are. I never forget my first spring training. I was in right field and I thought I had a A+ on, Mike. I'm in there like the coach comes up to me before we do in and out, and he's like, hey, this guy has the best arm in the organization, so just do you. Don't try to compete with him. And I'm like, yeah, right. You ain't seen me throw, right? And our spring training complex in Arizona was 365 down the line, 420 dead center. So we're doing throws from right field to third base. So I get the ball, Mike, I one hop it on the line, pow, and I'm like, yeah, coach, take that. Man, I will never forget. He hit this next dude the ball behind me. He caught the ball, didn't even charge it. Took a little crow hop, and the ball stayed on the line all the way to the bag and just tagged the guy. And he just looked at me and spit out his dip. And I was like, holy shit, man! Like, this is the real deal, and it's. Like you were saying, it's, and I wish these parents would see more of that so they can understand what it's about, And Mike said, it's a tough game at that level, man.
So let's talk about the backfields because you played in the backfields.
That's where I was at. I was in the backfield all day. You look at my spring training pictures, you're gonna be like, where's the stadium? Like,
But because when I was at the major league level selling bats,
okay,
we would go to the professional side, then we would go to the minor league side.
Okay.
And so in the minor league side, that's where all the backfields are at.
Yeah.
And those games, how did you guys take those games? Because dude, there's nobody. It's hot.
It's hot. Nobody there, and then you have in the lower levels, you have a lot of like Latin guys there that's throwing Ched. They don't know where it's going.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
So I'm on deck and I'm seeing 96, 97, and it's like going to the backstop, going behind the batter, and I'm like, man, what did I sign myself up for? Like, and I guess the only thing that can keep you going if you get caught in the backfields is just motivation to get out. And that's the only thing you can do. And it's like, nobody's watching you play. You barely think no scouts out there watching. It's just like, yeah, you just back there. It's just like, what am I doing? Like, I'm just here.
I was one in particular. I was in the old Kissimmee.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so I was some young men had bought some bats, and I was going to deliver it to them. And so I went to deliver it to him, and I was like way in the back. Okay, so the major league field's right here, right? And then the minor league field, and they're like, man, you're on that field. And I'm like, damn.
You didn't take a golf cart?
No, hell no, they didn't give me no golf cart. So I was carrying a box of bats, right? And I'm walking. It's hot, dude. It's like 9:30 in the morning, 10 o'clock somewhere. And I'm talking, dude, it's hot. And so I'm walking back there. So I get to the field, all right? It's me and like 2 other people there.
Okay.
One of the best games I saw, man. Like you said, I saw so many people throwing gas.
Yeah.
To your point, man, that ball.
You didn't know where it was coming.
Hey, man, that ball's going anywhere, man.
The higher you get up, the easier it is to hit.
Yeah.
Because pitchers can locate. At the younger levels, they just trying to throw hard. They trying to throw it against the gun. They're not trying to finesse nothing. It's like, let me light the radar gun up.
We sold so many bats to to lower rookies and stuff because they break bats because they're not a hit.
Yeah,
they're not a hit. I mean, the guys coming. I mean, talking, and coaches in line, man. There's one Dominican throwing 97.
Yeah.
The next Venezuelan's throwing 98. Then somebody else from somewhere is throwing this. An American's throwing. I mean, they're just throwing nonstop gas.
But you know what the
and
worst?
breaking bats. I'm like, oh hell yeah.
The worst is when they bring a big league guy to the backfield to get reps. I never forget that. Man, Flash Gordon came and pitched. And I'm like, hold on, time out. This isn't in the contract. And the big league guy, let's just say Chris, for example, he'll come down and get 4 at-bats in a row. And I'm talking about they'll stop the whole game.
Yeah.
Give him 4 at-bats. He don't even run the ball out. Just pow, he hit it. Oh, I didn't like that ball. He get back in the box, he hit it again. They treat you like rejects back there.
I heard that. I've never seen that, but I've heard that.
They treat you like rejects back there, for sure.
But those games, like I said earlier, if you can get back there, man, those are some of the good games.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw a long time ago. I saw in the backfield. I saw Joey Votto play. Before he was Joey Votto, man, he was just lighting it up. I mean, I just seen a lot of good players out there, but man, you can't get back there, man, and it's unfortunate because everybody wants the autograph, you know, and I get all that, but man, if you're there and you want to see baseball, man, I tell people all the time, go to the backfields if you can get in, if they let you and you can maneuver your way back there, man, go back there, man, you'll see 3 or 4 good games. And you may catch 1 or 2 people that eventually are going to be in the pros, man. And I mean, raw, and they'll come up and talk to you after the game, man. I mean, it's but you got to know Spanish because a lot of them are from Latin America. If you don't know Spanish, bro,
how good is your Spanish, coach?
Poquito. I can talk baseball language. You know the baseball language on the field. Like it's all Spanish on the field at the lower levels, but I can talk the slang, you know, what I need to talk, but I can't really speak too much. And it was amazing because, I mean, they gave these guys, like, Spanish, like English classes and tutors, and I'm like, man, why we can't get Spanish classes? Like, that's the language on the field. But speaking of Votto, I was in spring training with Votto and Encarnacion, and, I mean, you see those guys, man. You see the guys when they have it, like Mike say, it's just the ball just sounds different off their bats. Like Howie Kendrick. I mean, Kendrick was one of the most – he was my teammates for a year and a half, and, I mean – he was one of the most arrogant guys ever, but he can rake. You know, he'll be in BP saying, I'm going to hit 5 balls to this 370 number and bow, like hitting it, you know. And so, like Mike say, it's like, you know, and you see those guys that have it, you know, and some guys have to work extra harder to stay there, which are, you know, your utility guys, your bench guys, and then you have your stars. They just have it. It's just a gift.
I remember when I was down in the RGV a couple of years ago, former major leaguer Kareem Garcia went to go hit in a facility, and my friend was going to throw him BP, and he told my friend, hey, you need to put on a helmet. And my friend was like, I got it. I throw BP all the time. And I was like, hey, bro, man, you better put on a helmet. I said, this is a fucking major league guy. Nah, man, he'd be retired. I said, nah, dude, hey, first pitch, man, the sound, different. How the ball came off the bat, different. I was like, man, you better put on that helmet. He didn't put on the helmet, so I got to give him a shout out. He didn't give it. No, I'm not gonna shout him out, but he didn't put on the helmet. But man, I'm telling you, the whole mannerism, man. I'm talking about. He was just flicking the wrist, and I'm talking that ball was just jumping. I was just like, wow. I'm talking like he was. I mean, you know, he was throwing it. He was just wow. I was like, man. He said, man, you want to throw BP? I said, hell no, don't shoot. I wait for a little 12-year guy to come in here, man. But so, you know, that's how it goes. But Mike, so with the Reds, when you decided you were going to go with the Reds, I mean, did you have a conversation with the wife, or was that something? Were you happy? How was it, man? Were you like really happy when that happened, or is it you kind of already kind of knew it was going to happen, or how is that situation like?
Man, I didn't know what was going to happen. You know, that was my 5th interview, and you know, it's just, you know, it has to be a good situation, you know, and unfortunately, you know, good thing is that, you know, the Reds had a lot of confidence, and they talked to a lot of guys that have been around me. Okay. You know, so for them to give me the opportunity, man, it was just a blessing. But yeah, it was just a no-brainer, man. No-brainer. You know, always wanted to do it. It was a great opportunity to get in it. And I enjoy it. Unfortunately, the season's cut short, but
Yeah, but you're still gonna have time here in the fall.
So when you signed it, they send you like a care package?
They send you hats and shirts and all that.
They send you a box of a whole bunch of stuff. I brought Steve I had to get rid of some old Padre stuff, man. I never had an opportunity to wear it, but no, they take care of you, man.
That's good.
Now, so because when you're in the major league level, those guys don't pay for jack. It's just like, first of all, they're getting paid $18 million a year, and everything's being given to them for free, and they're getting meal money too.
Yeah.
So they're living their best life. But as far as the scouting goes, Mike, so after the area scout, what is the next jump up for you?
So you have a cross checker.
Okay.
Yeah, you have cross checker, and then you got the national cross checker.
Okay.
And then scouting director.
Wow. Any aspirations to do any of those other ones if the opportunity arose?
Yeah, not right now.
Not right now, really?
Right now, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I like the area. I like the area. I like going out and watching these guys in South Texas, Louisiana. Maybe later on, I got a little 114, so I want to kind of, be around him a little bit.
Oh,
And then after that, then we'll see.
So you drive your own vehicle?
No, they give a company car.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, nice. I never knew that.
The Reds just stepped up.
No kidding. Okay, so you get a company car with the company gas card?
Everything's expensive.
Man, I'd be eating out good every single night, Coach.
Hey, true story, and I know it's about Mike, but the Reds, I'm impressed because, our spring training, they gave us team helmets, man. It was bad. So it was like, man, we pro ball, we got team helmets. So that's pretty cool, Mike.
So once you decided on the Reds with the car, did you have to go get it? They sent it to your house? I know it's a fleet car process.
Yeah,
possibly.
it's a fleet car. So the other area scout, he was still living he was in Spring at the time.
Okay.
So he got a promotion. He was fixing to leave. So I had to meet up with him, pick up
get
the
his car
from him. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Nice. So see,
Man.
you could be a scout with the Reds.
Well, maybe if I'm a scout for Steve's team, maybe I get to borrow the Bentley. You know what I mean? Hey, Coach Jones, I got a question for you. Is hitting something you're just born with, or is it something that you master and understand as you go evolve throughout your career?
I think certain tools you're born with. I think certain tools are like speed, power. It's certain tools you're born with, but then it's something that you have to, hitting is when you have to get taught. You're born with natural pop, but you have to learn, how to get the mechanics and how to get the most out of your pop, and the younger kids think, I need to get a leg kick to get pop. But a leg kick is fine and dandy while you get a number of fastballs. But what's going to happen when you start getting curves and changers and sliders? So I think hitting is something, the natural pop I think that you're born with, but I think it's the mechanics and the foundation on you got to build that up. You got to get work on that for sure.
So as far as you swinging the bat, what was your training regime?
So I'm a big T guy. Just because I never forget, and I go to the Reds. My first spring training, I see Ken Griffey Jr. out there every day on the tee, him and his dad. And my first year, they put me on the tee. We had to take 200 swings off the tee every day before we started practicing spring training. And then, we had a list of drills to do. Then after spring training, after the game, we had late work. So I'm a big tee guy. I'm a big mechanic guy. I'm a big drill guy, just to work on the timing and the mechanics and being comfortable. I don't believe it's one correct way to bat. I see these guys trying to teach, how to hit like Aaron Judge. Only Aaron Judge you can't teach pop like Aaron Judge. I don't care what kind of mechanics you have. I was doing a lesson, and this is a true story, Mike, in junior. I was doing a lesson, and I was working on driving a kid with his backside. I'm like, hey, you're not getting your back hip through your swing. Let's kind of get the lower half going. And the dad stopped me in the lesson and was like, yeah, our other hitting instructor's teaching him how to hit like Mike Trout. And I'm like, what? I don't even mind. How can you? So what I'm saying is that, you have to be a drill guy. I feel like you have to, because the thing is, I think baseball is a game of mental adjustments. People say it's a game of adjustments. It's a physical adjustment, but your brain has to tell your body what to do. So in order for you to make that physical adjustment, you have to be taught mentally how to make that adjustment. So I'm a big drill guy for sure.
It's funny that you bring up the tee, because there are still a lot of kids and high school kids that don't like working off the tee.
Got to use that tee, man.
And a couple of years ago, I was we had an older team, and this kid, he ran a 6.5 60 through like from the outfield. He was clocked at like 94.
Okay.
Terrible work habits. Never, if you saw him working off the tee, you would just start laughing because it was so pitiful. I mean, this is one of the kids that if you would turn away, he wouldn't even swing. Yeah, he's like, oh, I don't need the tee. I'm like, bro, I said, you may not think you need the tee. I said, but there are pros that are hitting off the tee every single day.
Every day.
I said, but unfortunately, you think you're too good to hit off a tee. I said, it's going to end up catching up with you. It eventually caught up with them, but I bring that up because there's a lot of people that, man, I don't want to do tee work. And when I go to spring training, dude, that's all I see.
It's tee work.
Yeah, especially in the hitting sheds or wherever the hitting spot is at. And there's tee work, and just like you said, there's tee work, just hitting off the tee, and then afterwards, then they'll go do whatever else, and then they'll get some BP either on the field or in the cage. But it's tee work, man, and it's religious tee work. It just keeps on going and going and going, and then we come to Houston, and I don't need the tee.
Nobody wants the tee. I mean, I think the tee is great for, to contact points, teaching kids how to hit. I mean, when I was young, man, I didn't have, my hitting coach, my coach was like, hey, you got to step to the ball, hit the outside pitch. And, when the ball coming 90 miles an hour, you can't step your front foot. Yeah. So I think the tee is very good for younger kids just to teach them when to make contact with every pitch. And I tell the younger kids just to keep it simple, learn how to hit the ball where it's pitched. That's hitting. Hit the ball where it's pitched and learn the contact points. And that's what the tee is good for because the ball's not moving.
Now mentally, or especially coach, when you were coaching, when you see high school kids, knowing the hitters counts. I know that's something that's very. I mean, everybody knows what the hitter counts are, right? But I don't think a lot of coaches teach hitting counts. And I'm not saying to sit on a pitch, but it worked for A-Rod his last year. I mean, he was just sitting on fastballs all the time, and he hit almost 30 home runs. But I mean, how important is it to know baseball, especially like hitters counts? I mean, because if you know that, I mean, I'm not saying you're going to get a fastball 2-0, but most of the time you're going to get a fastball 2-0, and you're going to have to at least try to hit that. Right. Do you think that's important, especially like when Junior brought up earlier, the mental part of the game? Because I'm of the opinion kids don't watch enough baseball on TV, and not the pandemic withstanding. I'm talking like last year. Kids just don't watch baseball on TV anymore.
They don't listen.
Yeah.
On TV, they don't listen to the commentators.
I mean, if they did, I mean, they would. I mean, and I'll bring this story up again. I used to love watching the College World Series. I mean, back in the day when it was in Rosenblatt, and because I remember watching Texas and Miami play all the time with Billy Bates and then all these other guys playing, and you would learn situational stuff about bunting, how to cover second, how to do a double play. Yeah, your coach can teach you the double play, but once you start seeing it on TV, and you're like, oh man, okay, so that's what they're talking about. But I think that gets lost in the shuffle. But going back to the hitters count, well, how do you think the mental part of baseball is being taught in the lower levels right now?
Yeah, man, knowing the hitters counts is very important. I was watching I think Josh posted something where Bo Porter was talking about, going up there ready, hitting a fastball. That's why, we place the tee, put it in the middle of the plate, put it inside. You got to go up there with the approach, and if you're working on the tee and you're working on, hitting balls right there in the zone, you better get ready to hit, And I think when I was going out watching guys, when I was recruiting, I wanted to see guys be aggressive. That's what I want to see, guys be aggressive, especially guys that know how to spray the ball all over the yard. If you got one-dimensional guys, it's kind of tough. I like guys that spray the ball around.
Now when you go see players, you mentioned about the eye test. Where does speed come into play?
Man, it depends, where you
Let's talk middle infielders.
Man, big time, especially in the middle.
Okay, so what do you have to run?
You would like to have guys that are 6'6", 6'5", 6'6". Okay. You gotta. There's some guys that don't run a good 60 time, but their first step's really good.
Right.
They can move really well left to right. I had one my second year, shortstop, that wasn't very fast, but his first step was really good. You know, he knew how to get to the ball. He knew to cut down the angles and stuff like that. And so, you know, that was fine. And then I had one last year that was drafted with the Brewers. I mean, that kid, he was a 6'7", and I mean, his hands were just awesome.
Really?
You know, yeah. But yeah, I think speed. Man, when I was with Alvin, first it had to be the bat. You know, you got to hit.
Yeah.
You know, got to hit. And then speed for the middle guys is important, especially as the outfielders with your center fielder. You know, guys on the corner, they just got to bang.
Yeah.
You know, you got to bang.
How about your outfielders? Center field?
Yeah,
speed?
Center field speed. Yeah. I had Javion Cody, who got drafted to the Marlins. Man, that guy was a 6'4" runner.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, he was amazing. He was amazing.
And the reason why I ask is because we always see these metrics wherever we see them at, whether it's on Instagram, Twitter, or what have you. And so the metrics say, you know, if you should run a 6'5".
Mm-hmm.
I mean, somebody puts it out there. So if somebody puts it out there, somebody's obviously going off of it. But how about vision? And when I say vision, I'm talking about if you're a middle infielder, right, and you're flipping the ball, however you're doing it, your peripheral vision has to be. I mean, do you guys ever take into account about vision?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of knowing the game, you know, knowing what to do when the ball's hit, know where to go with it. That's why I was telling, you know, a lot of these guys, man, are just not taught, you know, not taught. They're just trained to, you know, showcase and stuff and really not taught the game, and, you know, and taking a lot of reps, you know. So, but, yeah, you want guys that have awareness on the field, you know.
And how are you seeing that right now as younger kids are coming up? Are you seeing that awareness? Are you seeing a decrease in awareness?
Man,
and I'm gonna ask you too, Coach.
I think it's a decrease. Man.
A decrease?
Yeah. You know.
I think it's a decrease because kids are not taught how to play; they just taught how to win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know, it's a decrease in the mental part of the game. Like you said, they don't know how to play the game at a higher level. They can get away with it young because they're just talented. They're just more physically talented. But then once puberty hit and everybody catch up, it's a decrease for sure.
Now, okay, so select baseball. You can only practice, well, you can practice whenever, but most of the time you're usually getting 2 practices in a week. Let's just say 2 practices in a week, okay? Just because that's what we're going to say. Do you think in those 2 practices that's enough time to teach kids what they need in order to go on the field and play? Now, that's the first question. The second question is, when they're not practicing with the team, should they be doing work on their own?
For sure.
Do you think that's happening?
No, not
across
for
the
every
board.
kid. I think for half the kids that's happening, I think they're doing it because their parents are pushing them to do it.
Okay.
And then you see the kids that want to do it on themselves.
Right.
But I mean, if you want to be successful at this game at a higher level, you got to eat, sleep, and crap.
Right.
You gotta be all locked in. And it sucks to say, but the game isn't like how it was when we grew up. You know, when we play baseball, we play baseball. Then we go play basketball, we play basketball. Then you play football, you play football. And I'm a big multi-sport guy. I think every kid should play multi-sports if they want to. Yeah. But you can't take months off in baseball. Like, even if you're playing another sport, you got to still go home after your basketball practice and football and get on that tee and swing the bat. Right. Like, you know, you have to kind of keep your skills sharp in that aspect. But it's like you say, it's decreased for sure.
Now, when you're looking for players, multi-sport athletes, is that a plus?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your opinion on a lot of kids that are growing up now that are just playing one sport? Do you like that? What's your opinion on that? Because it's just your opinion. It's not.
Man. You know, if he likes playing baseball, you know, I don't see a problem with it. You know, I think you should take a break a little. You know, have some time to let your arm rest and let your body rest. But multi-sport athletes, you know, you learn different movements and stuff like that. You know, I think that plays a big part. But like Josh said too, man, a lot of these kids just don't have a routine. Especially that's what I saw going in coaching college. A lot of these guys, especially that's why a lot of guys end up leaving D1s, because they just didn't have a routine. They didn't have discipline, you know. And in JUCO, man, it's a grind. You know, it's a grind. It's wake up, 7 o'clock. You got weights, and then you go take a shower. You go to class at 8:30, and you go to class till 12 o'clock, and you know you go eat lunch at 1 and come to practice at 2 o'clock and get off at 5, and you got to do it all over again every single day. And a lot of these kids, man, they're not used to that, you know. So a lot of them kind of weed themselves out because they're not used to that work ethic. You know, they're not used to having that routine and discipline.
Now is that where does that fault lie in? Does that lie in the kid or all the coaches that kid had leading up to that point of view? Because we always want to blame the kid or we always want to blame the coach. Mm-hmm. So what do you think in that aspect? A little bit of both, or?
To me, I think it starts at home.
Okay.
You know, a lot of it starts at home. Teaching your kid responsibility. Stuff like that. Getting up and having them make their bed. Doing chores and stuff like that. Having a routine. Man, it's crazy stories, man. In JUCO, I go and do apartment checks, and it's just a mess in that apartment, man. It's like, man, y'all don't know how to wash dishes? Like, mom's coming this weekend. I'm like, man, no. So I think a lot of that starts at home, but a lot of that too, man, the kids, it's learned, so. Yeah. And like Josh and some of these other great organizations, man, they teach those kids that, though, being responsible, man. Accountability.
I agree with that. My only, I guess, issue with that is I'm just going to talk about my own son. Mm-hmm. I tell my son all the time, I treat you so different than how I was treated when I was growing up.
For sure.
I said, because, and this is just me. Mm-hmm. I grew up and I didn't have a lot of stuff. And so as I started getting older and started going to have a kid, I said, well, I'm going to give my kid every single thing that I didn't have growing up, which we all want to do as parents, right? But I think that kind of jacks everything up.
For sure.
Me personally, and I think it's parents first, entitlement. First, parents giving the kids entitlement, but second is coaches. Yeah. I think some coaches don't care enough to coach the kid for what he can do outside the baseball field.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is get on that kid the same way you'll get on the number 10 kid in the lineup.
Right.
Because the superstar kids or the superstar athletes, most of them are not used to getting coached because they have an easier way. The coaches feel like they need them to be successful. Yeah. But then when you go through life that way and you get to the next level, you realize that you're just another number. So you can't take constructive criticism.
Right.
You're not coachable. You can't take a coach getting on your butt because your whole career growing up, these coaches catered to you because, you're the shortstop and not cleanup hitter. Mm-hmm. And that's the entitlement that the parents say, like parents, like, if my kid isn't batting leadoff and my kid isn't playing shortstop or center field, guess what? We're going to find a new team. Or if we don't win 2 or 3 tournaments in these next 2 months, I'm out. But what are you teaching your kid? Yeah. That's the entitlement. When you get to Mike at Alvin or you get to the professional ball and you play 162 games a year, you're not going to win every game. Yeah. So if you bounce around from team to team to team and these coaches don't care enough to coach you outside of what you can do and your talent, it's going to hurt you when you get older. So that's why I say the system from the parents to the coaches to select ball has to change.
Okay. And do you think it's going to change with the current model that we have right now?
No.
Yeah, I agree with you because I think it's going to be real hard.
I just think it's like if let's say we all four dads on the team, and my kid is batting 11, and your kid is batting 10, and your kid is batting 8, and your kid is batting 12. Well, we don't like it. So what we're going to do? We're going to go start us a team so our kids can bat 1, 2, 3, 4 and have their way, but then you're not giving the kid what they need to be successful, and that's why it's too many select teams now.
Yeah. You're right.
It's too many teams now.
Especially if you're Mexican, man, you're starting a new team quick. You're Mexican from this side of town, man, you start a new team.
Hey, real quick, we're gonna take this little break to give a shout out to our sponsors, IssaCookie, for all your cookie needs. www.IssaCookie.com. C4 bats, #Red Cups for the best wood bats in the market with the best machines and the best customer service and the easiest payment form, right? Just Cash App.
Yep.
$sign C4 bats. Also, RIC Webdesign for all your website and application needs. Contact RIC Webdesign. Also,
Chris Webb.
Yeah, Chris also, Webb. Ferrari Michelada mix. And
it's Mother's Day too, so you got to go get your mix.
Yeah, you have to go get your mix. And Señor Spitz.
Señor Spitz. You're eating them right now.
Yeah, I'm eating them right now. They go hard. Y'all can try these. These are the garlic jalapeno. So the number for that is 713-470-8888.
Yeah, our man John
Reese.
out there. Yeah, John Reese.
And to our favorite sponsor, the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, Frank the Tank Barbecue. Team 7 grillers in the house. Just came in with a care package from Carbach. Okay.
Great care package,
from our
too.
good friends at Carbach. Remember, Crawford Bock isn't just a baseball beer. It is a beer for any season. Enjoy the day, whether you're grilling out or just chilling out. Carbach Brewing Company, brought to you by Frank the Tank, Team 7 Barbecue Grillers.
3 cases, too.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, shout out, Frank, man. Appreciate that.
It wasn't boring until I spilled
So,
yeah, thanks for that, Frank.
So, what kind of beer we got?
Is it cold or is it hot or what?
No, they're hot.
Oh,
They're
okay.
hot. So we got some Crawford Bock in there. I can see the Weekend Warrior, and which one's the other one?
There's
Coastal Conversation.
Which one's the one that's not even out yet?
yeah, there are some seasonal beers. There's some different types of beers for y'all.
Oh yeah. So we have the Michelada, Tasty Waves,
Yeah.
Coastal.
Nice.
Oh yeah. So shout out to our friends there at Carbach and our sponsor Frank the Tank, Team
Thank
7 Barbecue.
These cases, but
Yeah.
minus one.
Yeah.
Minus 2 actually.
Oh, that's cool.
That's awesome.
Nice.
And then of course got some Love Street, everybody's favorite.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple of cases of this stuff here.
Okay.
So when
What
you
we
get
got
a
here?
chance, this is a bourbon barrel.
Ooh.
Bourbon barrel. Okay.
Let me see that.
Nice.
Hellfire. Jesus.
What's
This looks
that one?
dangerous, bro.
And, this is their special blend. This grows hair on your chest, so be a man if you're gonna drink this one.
Oh
That's,
yeah.
They won't get it. I'll drink
And
it.
and
You gotta
that,
like some dark beer because it's.
Oh, it's a dark beer?
yeah.
Oh,
He's gonna
thick,
pass.
thick,
He's gonna
dark
I'm gonna
pass.
have to pass
I'll
on
drink.
that.
I'll drink that.
It's
Not a
tar,
dark beer.
baby.
Okay.
It's tar.
But
Cool.
hey, real quick, Frank. When barbecue team
How's the
Week
barbecue
2?
team coming? Come on over here, man. Get
week
over
2
here.
at the Texans or what? We're simulating the game right now. Ravens and Texans, and the Texans have started the season 1-0, defeating Kansas City, and now we're simulating the season.
Yeah,
So
that's a video game. You
yeah.
gotta turn it on.
Well,
Turn
you
it.
know, I would have put the Raiders on there, but
So, how are we looking with the cooking team? Where are we at?
You know, there was a few setbacks with this coronavirus stuff, but the grill's coming along. We're getting ready, getting everything set up. Certainly for the Texans, but gonna got our pit master already ready to go. Country, big shout out to Country.
Yeah, he told me he was.
Got a couple of other cookers already lined up. Julio and
Julio, okay.
Of course Marcus,
yeah,
Smooth's dad.
yeah.
Looking for 2 to 3 more cookers.
Okay.
Hopefully the team will get up and running with tents and all
Yeah.
before the football season gets going.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
now,
awesome.
Nice. What's the first event?
There's nothing set up. The barbecue cook-off stuff just started, and they're actually just starting to open up. So hopefully we get going soon. I was thinking about maybe next Friday or one of these Fridays coming out here and putting a brisket out on the pit while your guests are on and getting y'all to start tasting some good barbecue.
Oh,
Yeah,
there you have it.
and some
There you have
fajitas
it.
too.
And fajitas.
Talk
Okay.
to us about the special barbecue sauce you're working on right now, Frank.
Can't.
Okay.
Come on, you know
Can't
that.
see
You ain't
that.
gonna-
Okay. It's
top secret?
It's all in the seasoning.
But you're
Okay.
working on it.
It's already there. It's
Okay.
already there.
Alright.
So,
it's all in the seasoning.
So we're talking about cook-offs. We're talking about events. We're talking about all that with
Not-
Grill 7 or
Yeah, not so much events. We're not looking at obviously making money. We're looking at going out and having a good time, getting drunk, and
all that costs
partying.
Yeah.
That's all right. I got it.
Frank the Tank.
It's covered.
money. Okay.
There we go.
So are we looking like at the Strawberry Fest, Pasadena?
Hopefully, eventually, at some point in time, hopefully we could get to that point. Yeah.
Okay.
It's something that's just starting out.
Okay.
We got a ways to go, but we'll get there.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, most definitely.
Sure.
So
Now you can make it happen real quick.
Well, as long as I'm a part of the Windup Media Group, we're
Oh,
we're in
yeah.
good shape.
oh yeah, man, I can't wait. I'm telling you, man, Frank is getting down with the brisket right now. bro.
Who's going to be the team DJ? Y'all got that under control? Or what?
Not yet.
We got walk-up songs?
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta come check this out. You guys, I'm gonna look for y'all on the schedule.
that's good, man. I can't wait, man. So just let us know. And so
It's all
we can
good.
go out there, man. Go out to a cook-off. And
Everybody
have
is
a good
invited except for Steve until he gets the name right.
Come on, Steve.
time. Which one?
It's Frank the
Dude,
Tank,
it's
Team
too long.
7,
You know what?
barbecue
He didn't even
grillers.
say the name
It's
right.
not even that hard, Steve.
Yeah,
Okay. I can't say anything because I always mess it up. So
yeah.
Dues are coming up. I'm gonna have to think about whether I want to pay him again or not.
Hey, Frank, by the way, try these seeds, man, from our sponsor, Señor Spitz. These
Yeah.
are the garlic jalapenos, and you'll be able to find these Señor Spitz at the ballpark near you once we get back in.
Flavors are up on Facebook page.
Yeah.
See?
yeah.
Yeah, so just go to Facebook page.
From our
and,
man John Reese last
I'm
week.
gonna be having those, hustling them out of backpack right there by Field 4, Baseball USA.
I'm gonna see
Sneak
you
him
some.
into Baseball USA or what?
Yeah, we're gonna sneak them in.
Well, it's not really sneaking them in. You just take them in there, right?
It's not me. If there's seeds on the turf, it's not me, man.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah. There's always seeds there, too. There's always seeds there. So what else is going on with the cook-off team? Other than that, having fun,
Just having fun, getting ready,
interviews,
getting ready for.
talking to different people. That's a job, too, right? I mean, that's
It's a whole job in itself. I didn't realize it, but it's all coming together. It's going to be nice once it gets all put together.
okay.
We
Cool.
got-
yeah.
We got a ways to go.
Okay, good, man. Well,
So-
hopefully we can.
Got a few things in the oven. Got a couple of sponsorships, hopeful sponsorships, not only for the windup, but also for the team that's going to provide plenty of booze.
Oh
nice,
yes,
even better. Well, I think we got some earlier, so
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
We
so
got a
that's-
care package.
Yeah, so that's
So
that's
shout out
pretty
to our
good.
friends at Carbach for that.
Yeah, a member of the InBev company now.
All right.
So thanks, Frank, man. Thanks, Frank. No food?
Not yet.
I did text them though to bring food.
It was a little late. I worked late.
I
was hard.
Hey,
I'm-
Frank, you might want to bring some food.
I'm not really the cooker. That's what I got Country for. He's my pit master. I got to get it all coordinated with Country to get him out here to start cooking it up for y'all.
Is have they started practicing? Has Country started practicing?
We're talking about football.
No,
Baseball?
Yeah, he's
I
got 2
don't
kids that play baseball.
I'm not too
I don't
sure.
know. I don't know.
I
Because
know. I know our team's getting ramped up on the 20th, Frank. Somewhere or other.
It would have been the 5th, but
Yeah.
I got voted out by somebody.
Yeah,
Really?
not me. I was down.
Oh man, well yeah. So
You know we're playing the first.
We're not going to call nobody out, Santos.
Yeah.
y'all
Mi-
playing?
Mr. Mom.
Y'all playing the first tournament?
Hell yeah, we're gonna play, right, Frank?
Memorial?
No. See, I'm down,
I'm down.
but player safety first, just like Coach Josh. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's no way that we could go into the tournament with 1 week worth of practice. It's just not going to happen. I mean, it's if I'm going to ask the parents to spend money, we're gonna go in there to try to win it, or at least compete. You know, it's not about winning; it's about competing.
Okay. And it got to be healthy to be competing. So good job, Frank. Well, I'll go watch you guys play.
Yeah, it's going down. I mean, every time you come out, good things happen.
Jalen hit a home run when I saw you
Just
guys.
pull up every time. Maybe he'll hit one every day.
Yeah.
Every time you show up.
Yeah, hopefully.
That'd be cool.
Hopefully, but yeah, man. So you know that happens. But I'm really looking forward to the cook-off, man. And
Hey, I
to all
want to
that.
give a shout out to C4 Bats. Steve hooked my son up with 2 bats. As
Yep.
a matter of fact, one for his right hand, one for his left hand, and he is rocking it, baby.
Oh,
He's
nice.
loving those bats.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Nice.
post this
Beautiful
picture here
bats.
pretty soon. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Steve, you
but
got some. They still make 161s.
I have them
You
on.
got some
yeah.
161s?
Yeah.
I'm about to
I-
be
I-
coming
I-
up.
I have that profile.
Get with
Not
me,
too many
Josh.
people
I'll
know
get you a
about that.
discount.
All right, okay. All right. I'm about to grab me some.
Yeah, I have that profile.
Okay.
I have that profile. Is that what you swing? Swung or
161s.
what
Yeah, I
so
wouldn't.
did-
My
that's what
swing
you
wasn't good enough to swing at 271s and P72s. I was a 161.
Okay.
Then when I got a little older, I would start going 243s. Just to
Okay.
get a little more head out.
Yeah, well, when
You
you
know.
played, that's when the big barrel.
The
They
big
had
barrels.
the big barrel.
Yeah, the big barrels, for
they don't
sure.
have those anymore.
Yeah, for
They
sure.
don't have it anymore. Oh, this is grown man talking. My bad.
Yeah. Man, I'm just. Hey, the 90s, baby.
90s, baby.
No, when did you play? When did you? 2000s, right?
2001 was my first year, first
Okay.
training. But I mean, I didn't. So, true story. Growing up, I didn't know that there were different model wood bats.
Yeah.
Like when we were young, we just thought a wood bat was a wood bat.
Mm-hmm.
Then when we got in the tunnel in spring training, just the season, I was amazed by how many different model wood bats. It took me a year and a half to find a bat I liked because I was just going from bat to bat to bat to bat to bat. But yeah, I was a 161 guy.
Okay.
I couldn't swing a 243 earlier in my career because I wasn't strong enough to get the barrel out. But younger I was 271, but my swing, the barrel was just too small for me. I couldn't barrel much up with that little bitty barrel, so I started going to the bigger bats.
That 243 is real popular in Mexico.
Really? Oh, if you get the head out, that thing going. Yeah, if you get the head out,
it amazes me. I'll get phone calls and I know the guys like about 40 something playing in the Sunday league. Mm-hmm. Man, I want the biggest barrel you got. I'm like, all right. And I want a 34 and a half. I'm like,
good luck with that.
I'm like, man, are you serious? Yeah. I'm like, all right, we'll make it for you. Man, sure enough, man, I love the bat, man. I'm like, oh, okay, man. But man, it's funny because those older cats over there playing Sunday, man, their swings on big old 34s, 35-inch, man.
Yeah.
I had a guy call me, he wanted 36-inch bat. I said, no, bro, we're not doing all that. We're not doing that. We're stopping at 35. We really don't even do 35. Yeah. Yeah. And so, yeah, I'm telling you, man.
Who's swinging that?
That's a whole tree, Steve.
No. It's a whole billet, man.
That's a big bat.
Yeah, man. Just people in Mexico.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they swing big barrel bats, man. The bigger, the better, man. So, and they're always asking me for models that don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Because I think it was in 2008 or 9 that the criteria for the 243, the big barrels, changed. And so, unless you're a grandfathered in, I think the last one, I think it may be Miguel Cabrera.
Oh, I never knew that.
I think he's the last one that can use the big barrel. But yeah, so
I never knew that.
yeah, so that's what happened. But yeah, big barrel bats, Mexican guys, man, they swing the hell out of that. So, but I'm glad your son likes the bat, man. They came out pretty good, and I saw the picture. He looked real good in it too. So I'll be out there watching them as well. So. Man, Frank. So thanks for coming in, my man.
Man, no worries. It's always a pleasure coming out here and hanging out with y'all guys.
Yeah. And you just got off of work or what?
No. I got out of work. I get out of work at 6, but
okay.
I was at the house just watching, and
yeah, I saw you watching.
Yeah, that was a couple of Modelos in. I was like, man, the hell with it. I'm gonna take him the beer right now. I was gonna wait till next week. I was like, screw that.
Hell yeah.
I'm taking him the beer right now. I live like three houses down.
Oh, do you really? Have you met Mike Partida?
I haven't, dude.
Area scout for the Cincinnati Reds, and Josh?
Yeah, I see him.
Okay.
Yeah, big old guy right here.
Was pro guy, 6'5".
Yeah, big guy.
Yeah, I was a little slimmer in my playing days, but no comment.
We all were.
Hey,
I like what you were saying on the podcast. You got a lot of strong words, a lot of good stuff to say about the team.
Yeah, well,
I started looking y'all up. I was like, man, maybe this guy will hook my son up.
hey, I'm all about development. So
that's what I'm talking about.
I'm all about getting them ready for Mike.
Santos is asleep anyway, so he ain't gonna hear it.
Hey, I got a few of my kids that's online right now, and they asked if I can give them a little shout out. So
go ahead.
I got my man AR. Yeah, and I got my man Julian. It's kind of past their bedtime, so I don't know what they're doing up right now.
Well, it is Friday.
Oh, it's Friday. Okay. So I want to shout out to my man AR and Julian. They watching on live right now. So
nice.
Wanted to give them a little shout out.
Thanks for tuning in.
Wake up in the morning. Y'all got miles in the morning. Get your work in.
There you go.
Yeah.
What age group?
These guys are 10 right here. So they're on the 10U team. They're ready to get going. They're supposed to have their schedule to go to the Destin World Series in July.
Okay.
So they're chopping at the bits to get back on the field. So we'll see how that goes.
I saw a picture of the water yesterday from Panama City, and then 2 days before in Destin. I'm ready to go too.
Hey.
Well, I love Pensacola, so
Destin's amazing. I never knew that part of the world exists. I'm like, man, this is a nice beach over here. Like white sand, blue water.
Man, I'm telling you, I don't go to Cancun anymore. I don't go to Cancun anymore because
try Cabo, Steve. Cabo's the best.
I don't like Cabo.
Cabo rocks.
Nah. Okay, the nightlife, but if you're gonna go for the beach,
you don't go in the water.
You can't go in the water. That's the problem.
Yeah,
you don't go in the water in Cancun or Playa anyway.
Well, you have time to go in the water. You can go in the water.
You can.
If I want to
take a picture.
If I want to go to Cabo, I'd rather go to Miami. I'd rather go to Miami than Cabo.
Nah, Cabo rocks.
Cabo's terrible.
Josh just like, nah.
Cabo's the place to be.
Nah, Cabo's terrible, man.
You're crazy.
Man,
Cabo's terrible.
I can see you already there, Steve, in Cabo with the brick red Astros jersey.
I went
baby.
one time. I didn't like it.
To Cabo?
Yeah.
You should have spent more money on the resort. Why'd you go to that 3-star resort?
No, I did. I'd rather go to Miami. But that's just me, though. So I mean, but you can go to Cabo. As a matter of fact, why don't you take me to Cabo next time?
I got you, Steve. I got you. How many in your family?
4.
Damn. It's all right. I'll still hook you up. We'll put you in a better hotel than the one you stayed at. You'll like it more.
I was at a good one, man. But yeah, so that's how it goes. But Mike, so anything before we go, man? I mean, what you got going on the rest of the year? You just on a wait and see, just like everybody else?
Man, so now that we have the draft date out June 10th, just hitting it hard every day, contacting guys, getting that background info,
Okay.
Watching video. That's the hardest thing, man. I mean, there's only certain little things you can watch,
Right.
watch a video, you got to go see a guy play,
Are you able to talk to him? You can talk to him, right?
we can talk to him.
Okay.
Yeah, we can talk to him, text, Zoom call, but we can't go out, watch them, work out, anything like that. So we're shut down. MLB got to shut down until May 31st.
You're a scout for the Reds, right? Yeah, I got to send you a picture of my son.
There we go. Network.
Mike did say about relationships
Yeah.
earlier.
That's it, baby.
Yep.
It's who you know.
Yeah, and so if baseball gets started on the pro level, what will you be doing during the summer? You'll be going out to, if there's tournaments, you'll be going out to tournaments, or
Yeah,
or
I mean that's
what's-
something we're talking about right now. Where they're trying to get an idea like what's going on in our state. What are we hearing as far as high school stuff getting started back up. I already see a lot of tournaments. Directors are posting stuff. So just keep an eye on that. Usually how it works after the season, we always get sent to pro coverage.
Okay.
That's not going to happen this year. So it's going to be more like tournament ball now. So
Okay.
going out there and start working on 2021s.
Man, and that's right around the corner. Right around the corner. How about you, Coach? What are you doing the rest of the summer? You just like everybody else,
Yeah,
just
I'm
wait and see.
Chopping at the bits, and I mean, I haven't been like grinding like this with lessons for a while. So many kids want to get in for lessons. I find myself at the cages 10 hours a day now. Like, that's the grind. But just ready to get back going. I mean, the main thing is just I'm ready to see my kids again. Just to see them and give them that high five and
Right.
give
Just
them
to be
that
around
love,
them.
be around them. I mean, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, it's funny that he brings that up. Are you going to miss the camaraderie of being with the team? Because now you're kind of solo,
Yeah,
maybe?
man. No, I miss that.
Okay.
I miss that. It's fun times, man. Especially, you build these relationships with these guys, man. You're almost like a father figure to them too. That got guys that still call me all the time. Because you spend, like I tell guys all the time, man. I spend more time with them than I do with my own family.
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and that's because I would think that transition, I mean, you're always around, let's say 25 guys or 25 people. And then now you're on the road by yourself, walking to the park by yourself, maybe eating by yourself.
Hotels 4 or 5 days.
Yeah,
out of the
by
week,
yourself.
man.
Yeah, and it sounds good at the beginning. And then at some point, I think it just, I don't know, you probably want to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
I mean, and granted, I know you're talking to players and you're probably talking to whoever, but just like on the, hey dude, how's it going, man? I mean, I don't, that's pretty tough. That's what you're going to have to change, or your mindset's going to have to go that route. But man, that's cool. What World Series are you personally going to, or you're not going to anymore?
No, I personally don't. If the parents want to go, I'm all for it, but I don't never like send out and say, hey, we going to play in this World Series and that World Series, because I don't want to be the one that's trying to make financial decisions for parents.
Right.
So if they decide they want to do it, then I'll get everything together for them. But the 10U they're going to Destin. They decided on Destin. I think the 11U is supposed to go to Destin too.
Okay.
So it's just when we can get them back on the field and see, if it all works out.
Frank the Tank, y'all where y'all going this? Y'all not going anywhere? That's probably
out of state.
That's probably the best move.
Mm-hmm.
We're set up to go to PG. Of course, they canceled, and then the Elite, but no out of states.
Yeah.
Destin is fun, by the way.
Yeah, it's a good vacation for the parents, basically.
That's what it is. It's not about baseball.
No, not at all.
It's not about baseball.
No.
Get the customary all the parents along the beach with their cup drinking.
We had that picture, Steve.
I got one too. That's
We
what
got
I'm
to hang it up on our main living room.
Hey, but those are fun times, man. I mean,
Oh yeah, the custom picture. Yeah.
When they're jumping up.
yeah. yeah. Julio, man, what you got going on this weekend, man? It's Mother's Day. What are you doing?
I don't know yet. I scared. I got that brisket I got smoked.
Ooh, tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll start on it tomorrow.
What time?
I'll probably start it on Saturday night, going into Sunday morning.
Oh,
There you
okay.
go.
Using a pellet grill or a smoker?
Just a smoker.
That's what I'm talking about right there.
At least try to have it on there for at least 12 hours.
Ooh.
It's hard to control that fire,
is.
that heat for that long.
It is, yeah.
A constant heat.
It takes work.
Yeah.
What else are you cooking? Just that or what?
Just that
On the new pit or your old one?
on the new one.
Ooh.
I need to give him my phone number. That sounds good right now. I'll buy me a plate of that.
That's going to be tough, man, with the new one because you don't know it.
Yeah. That's why I did that pork butt on it a couple weeks ago just to learn on it. But
Yeah,
pretty easy.
Yeah, that was nice. That was nice. It came out good. Junior, what are you doing for Mother's Day, man?
Man, I just probably around the house, man, make some fajitas, just hang out. You know, with all this COVID stuff going around, it's crazy right now. So,
I got you, Junior.
you know,
I got you, baby.
Y'all going out and about? Y'all got the mask and all that stuff?
nah, man, I don't want to do that, man.
Yeah, we went out today. Finally, I mean, I took my kids out of the house for the first time in like 6 weeks. So,
I saw everybody getting haircuts today.
yeah, everybody should be looking. Well, John, look
Yeah,
at
that's why I was late.
Coach looking sharp.
My
looking
my hair
bad.
appointment was from 6 to 7, and it's 7:30. I'm like, I gotta go, man. Like, I can't show this to nobody, so I can look good for here. Like, can't go nowhere.
Oh man, any special plans for Mother's Day?
Man, just whatever the wife wants to do, man. It's all about her.
Hey, so we actually get a break this year because we really can't take you out to
Yeah,
eat.
for sure.
I mean, we really can't do that. I mean, if you don't, I mean, I guess you can do online shopping, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could.
I mean,
So
It's too late, Steve.
huh?
It's too late.
No, I already got mine.
I tried to do that today. I told my wife this is her first Mother's Day. I'm like, man, well, you know, babe, like, this year's gonna suck for you. Like, we can't do anything. She said, "That's curbside pickup." I'm like,
Yeah, true.
That is true.
I'm like, golly.
That is true. Hey, but the only thing my friend told me, because I was telling my friend about that, hey, you know, we can't do this. He goes, all right, just remember, because when Father's Day comes around, just
Yeah.
remember what happened. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, shit, I forgot about that. Gotta have to pay it back. Frank, any special things going on with you this weekend? Just hanging out?
Just hanging out. I was hoping to go see my parents and my in-laws, but we had our COVID test done on Tuesday. We hadn't gotten our results back, so thanks to Darren Lawson for hooking that up because it was pretty easy. Got in there, got out, and that BLD.
Okay.
Yeah, it was free with insurance, so
How'd you like it? Tough, huh?
it was tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. They went in pretty deep.
Yeah. It's,
Yeah,
there's
it
got
was just like it didn't hurt. It was just a weird feeling. Never had nothing up my nose that far.
man, like when Coach Sam was here, there's got to be a better way for that. I mean, because I told you my story when oh my God.
They tell you to breathe in and don't clench.
Relax, yeah.
Alec was clenched up, and it took him a while to get that Q-tip up his nose. But he was a trooper. He got it taken care of along with my wife and my stepdaughter.
For real.
Yeah.
Have y'all seen the test? What
No,
they do?
I saw it today watching the Korean baseball thing when they did the test in the car for a guy. It looked painful.
Okay, so that was actually an easy one.
I seen the one in the doctor's office with that.
Yeah, that was
thing
an easy
goes,
one. Man,
okay.
the actual one, because I could do the baseball guy. What they did in baseball, I could do that because it didn't. No, man, it's
No,
just,
they go in there.
They do.
They tell you to reach back.
You're
and they're
violated.
right there, and then they go like this, and you're like,
No.
they tell you relax. There ain't no relaxing, man. When you see them
It's
stick
quick
that
though,
thing-
you know. To be honest with you, it didn't hurt. There was it really felt like, you know, when you're in the swimming pool and water goes up your nose.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it felt like. It was more uncomfortable than anything. I recommend for everybody to go take it.
I want
It's
to
better
go
than
do
no.
it just to get the antibodies, right?
Was that?
The antibodies, to see if you had it before or if you have the antibodies.
Oh yeah. I think that's.
It's better to know.
Yeah, no,
For sure.
it is better to know. It is better to know. Well, shit, man. Well, I hope everybody has a great weekend. Happy Mother's Day to everybody around.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, make sure you
Happy
get
Mother's
presents or whatever. And those of you who don't have your mothers, just make sure you think about them anyway. I mean, because it is Mother's Day. So, you know, I want to thank everybody for coming tonight. Coach,
Yeah,
thanks for coming, man. We really appreciate it. Coach, thanks for coming too, man.
Thank you all for having us.
Yeah,
But before you go, tell us where to find Texas Blue Chips social media outlets.
TexasBlueChips.com is the website. Twitter is at Texas Blue Chips, and then the Instagram Texas Blue Chips.
Okay, cool.
I was lucky to get all three of those
Yeah.
those sites, and then Facebook, same thing. Texas Bluechips Baseball Academy.
Okay, awesome.
And Coach, how can we find you? You on Twitter? You on anything now? Or you had to get rid of all that?
Man, I had to get rid of all that.
Really?
Really?
God, dog. So,
I'll
so
find
they
you.
can't hit you on the DM or
I'll
nothing?
find
No,
you.
I'll find you.
I'm on Facebook. Yeah, I had to get rid. Man, I started the Alvin Twitter, and when I left, they're like, "Man, we gotta keep the Alvin Twitter." I was like, "Man, that's mine." You know? So now I guess I got to make a new profile, but yeah, man, just on Facebook. you
Oh,
know,
okay.
so.
All
Same
right.
number, Coach? Same number?
Same number.
Okay, good. Well, thanks for coming. I mean, I know we contacted you last week, and you were, or was it last week? Yeah, it was last week, right? And you were a soldier about coming on, and as well for you, Coach. So thanks for coming on. Y'all's knowledge and your expertise and what we talked about was really appreciated. And of course, just to get the information out, because we assume a lot of parents know, but they really don't. And so that's what we try to do here every single week.
Yep.
And remember, D1 challenge.
D1 challenge, man. Go ahead and tag me, tag everybody that's in the table.
Will the slingshot work?
Hey, as long as you pushing something. Let me see what you pushing. And let Uncle Steve be the judge. Right? Just tag Steve Medina.
somehow this thing, I don't know.
I'll have Alec push the slingshot because I don't have a sports car.
Yeah. Somehow I started it or whatever. I don't even know what the post said, but I thought it was pretty funny. So hopefully we can see. I definitely want to see about the FedEx.
Yeah,
Flash needs to show up with
Yeah,
his
Flash.
FedEx. He
He's
works
already-
on this side of town too, so
Yeah.
he should be able to come. So with all that being said, thanks to everybody for watching or tuning into the Windup Podcast brought to you by the Windup Media Group. We want to thank Coach Josh. We want to thank Frank the Tank. We want to thank Mike. We want to thank Junior, Julio. I'm Steve. Thanks for tuning in. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. Have a safe weekend, 6 feet apart, social distancing, and everybody be safe. And hopefully we'll see you next week. Thank you.